And you're welcome to the Happy Morning Show live on ETV Live on Happy 98.9 FM. One of these days, something will happen. But yeah, when you know about ever Jimmy this one up, I'm hoping your morning has been a good one. You know, yes, sorry, and I always encourage you to start your morning right. Starting your morning right would mean say, oh, kind of Quran and pay. What does Allah want to say to you? Oh, kind of Bible not and pay. What does Jesus want to say to you? Oh, kind any book biana. Ujidi a woman no yeyi ade asi wo ade ama wo no menim se o kan no ahye edana se eyi menim ye kristoni anenti no in bible na ehye ase na menim se onyankopon ade mbekọ ene odma ba asomdwe mu na watoto manamo ene makwan eyi ade ama me se na metimi atena se na maye adwuma den ama me man Ghana etumpon maybe say anapai wo hye ase say start right and start with God. My name is Samuel Shem and I welcome you to the Happy Morning Show. Now, and tonight, my Ghana home come on the ADA, send my Ghana, a bear crabeshe, who encomo any ADA. What drink today and who me and the Bombardier, Silberco, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You handle no a happy 989 FM and I say ETV Ghana. Now, who comment be a one so odi abrain and nasa who thought be a why express it on any of these platforms now odi abrain. Your WhatsApp line 02022 22067. One more hate even there. We have screens in the swap. But when see the handles when you know you are to swap. Once you bet me a follow now what the thought of views and no comments no what they are bringing. Jumedi Ekoso Ewo Nisim 95.9, 100.1, Boga and the Tamale and the Echegu Ewo Honum. Happy 98.9 FM and the ETV Ghana. Yanto na any ACP retired Victor Tando ending kuma ya de the headlines of the newspapers no atwaso abre adofo ya de social media nkoma wo mo edi no ya de ho nsem se bebre man for sports kakra na afi ya shasa ya di nkoma no for now ACP and any kodi nkoma. I say any ACP retired Victor Tando din commando pay no the road safety tidbits no ebren and pay LGMD. ACP and pay your more kwabeja.
Major boss.
Na impombo kwa de.
Ya minchadi mpacho
Yede wadi asi. Yo anapay de. Yene nam eja.
Yo midwase. Happy FM my for cheche munara ya minkoso rankam ono tina ni mchem no chichira monso. Etie for mutage media no pe mamunyina achi. Mamacha de shid mo bese media kecheso. O Happy FM 98.9 and the pioneer de in boss bema submission and the edwemu. All my boy chidom ni bini girl but the father kwa Justice Nati Isaac Ade, Raymond Nyaman Ura, Fatisha Ibu Ali, Pastor Thomas, and Kwame Damte. So for the Amias, so near the Muhammad Pachi and strong of them, and a year. Operation Musmida at also and Mochi, Amias. There were for more and the singing other, Mamunan Channel Pay, I mean, Kosa and Kamoko Amunia Butlo. There were for more CMB station. Coconut gas station, Yamin Kamunamo. Therefore, more to do station with Yachamunan paying Yamin Shramo. Driver say, well, 37 station, Medina, and Adente, Mamunachi or Chief Don Cono for Yamunara. Therefore, more Cofodia, Protra Cooperative, Kulikuli, one of the drivers, Yachamunina, Yamin Shramo. There is a more as a man can say, any Okoto or Rai near Moano. Mamunyina chi amape ya minkamu ho. Driver sa mo and some low station wo goil filling station chino. Mo yejuma ya minkosu ichirishira mo onkamu ho. Brodo Tomfo ante adiza ne ante baba mamunyina chi munum brodo Tomfo ya me informunsie. So for the me asinisa da po the adum yeni. Ya sorry do na otwe ye enye ne ye kro. Ye kwa be kon any ye bansua yapanse nya ya mom yemfa tu ekoto dwem yemfa nante na betimi edi apoa yen nsembi honmo a ye ka ana asefim kakra asefim enso meti bia no ese ka ye ka ebetimi apoa papa ohema 7 rana back wo ya ka ya Migidi say bien and obitu benefo bitu wana ma papa bi enye honko ende mum yenhwe Nima Junction e kwankase pa kase fi Kwame Nkrumah sekre ko su minara kare fi o su fam ho nyina ba Kwame Nkrumah sekre fam ha ta kwan su no na traffic light e Nima Junction and the car say mammo be ni manomo ebetim and almost free Nkrumah circle ho ebesa ko ni mana mammo be any mpatem ho nyinada traffic light eben ni police station I say I check kra and the press for me gina ho don be say 10 good hours mom gina on a directed traffic ahono echi into ufi ho minute ba kokura enyeyi ufi ho minute ba kokura no a enyeyi that traffic light minim say urban roads and a traffic light so ewo nkra ha eti me wrong omuntu ho anamo enye ho de no ko bebre na ho de ide ene ehia papa ehia pa eti omuntu ho anamo omuntu ho anamo no mo hwe so bitimi ho bibi over traffic management ya enka process ni treacher kwan ya wagina wa akura no do hwe miensa no bi akosesa no no bi so ono so asa babio onya do hwe nsia edemu a eno ano no ansa ne ho na kwan ni nti obi timi gina ho do hwe nan na foforo abesis abesa no no asa ba do hwe nan na foforo abesisa no no asa babio adan no obi aduma sese oye no ye gyan na moment kan wasempa esa traffic light no urban road for mutu one manye on compose ekwani bi so etimi hadwen pa ofi Obasanjo highway ofi 37 and they call dimples no wa na baby e hadwen kese pa ne ofi Accra guest na wo de ba Kaokudi traffic light na se Accra guest ebe traffic sa ekwana yese bibi zigi saba ekwana no aye bibi wo ho pumping papa kwan se wo ye ho ko nam sa kwan so na to no wan fe ya obeto ka tuni ade ebe yo sa kwan no high authority for there ana say urban roads for there Regional minister no kure ni waduma so pa o waduma so papa waduma no so waduma no so so bomodin ya enko we ke municipal for na hwe ho no o ma eso mu hu no mbo wasote next highway na urban roads a oko ti om so na ka hoyi so ba beju na for mine ho kama ehonye make obi o ta fa ta kwa no so o hu ne make yesre enye traffic light ya making enye ni ma junction je nko ahụ bebre won kra ha bebre wo ha na adan obi atuma so jiso obi bagi ya ma na won no se be wasa ho nkwan ma na yeye eni sa enye ye ye de sa enye ye mesre obi anhwe na atuma na onye ni ye obi ani die fam die no ye ni kakra ebeboa enye complain ko enye se da bi obi anhwe ni fam die ejuma ide ama o say ye no ye na ye ni ye na wo ye ni ye ya ebitumi apoa kwa hwe Accra guys wo traffic light on mo dia make Kaokudi wo dia make hwe ne kwa na ye ai obi afa obi penfo ho an obi afa obi mi enkasa ho obi ahwe so bitumi na ejuma yi yedu na o hwe wi ebusafo na tiefo mesre ye ni ekọ ye ni ekọ miamia mienya hwe ye ni abutre ma mo mi enko ye bibi ni emfa enko hye na mani hu na ebe nti ni ade dabi o mi enso so ye ho ye fi ehun sie happy tiefo dom fa ye nke ho happy tiefo ja nke no ni ni ye o fi sie no bia ejuma pe bia esi na ni so no eja no nhira so ma no nyame adom a eduada ye besan ahia
we don't say for your road city tidbit out there abra no pay eljumedi ni yento aso na yemfa the headlines on the newspapers in Brother 4. And welcome back. As I say, the headlines of the newspapers no Brother at the 4 and if you answer there, it's all about plans for the weekend. But Fatih Elminchen, good morning. As you say, Elminchen, the headlines in the Brother at the 4. Fatih, good morning.
Good morning, Sammy.
Bibi Adedin.
Yami Adam.
I see. Ray, morning.
Morning, Sammy.
Bibi Adedin.
Sammy, Yami Adam. Sika ya branti ye.
What is it?
Sika. Ya branti ye.
Sika eye abrantie yi.
Na ohia se ya abrantie.
It's a kind of moja. Is that what you're saying?
Ah, Sammy, I don't pay say champion for back when you know Sammy to admit so. Sammy, I don't pay a very more Mali. Now I am down for interim president of Mali. President Assimi Goïta. Bonjour, monsieur. Sammy.
And that's also very for about being as a
You feel what? Now you're chairman, ambassador, His Excellency, Ambassador Edward Boati, and a chairman. Maybe will be a Sisiano, no, Dasiga, no. Sisiano, you know, say, SO is no, on bet you now, nice one, because you need your to me. Ultimately, or no, I didn't say out to me any on a or ya dear. And Sisiano, the titles, no, ya do ya de become one.
Okay.
Channel pay bibi will be on your channel. Now you free what? Opinion back one makes some yadan. Now I will chrome hano. Because the richest man in the world I know. Yes.
The richest man in the world.
There be Nabotre, Ode, Nabotre. I won't say a tree in America. The richest, you kind of richest man in the world. I don't know. Mammy, I don't know. Ultimately, now you can also be a rich and yes, you can go.
Okay.
Yes. I no pay CEO, Mr. Ernest Boatin. Maybe I will be a mature. You say I no pay what's needs in what poor treadmill so. And see, I no pay more energy.
Yeah.
Now we are. Meba opinion ba kuswa. Eba no brantie ene o modern boy mo boy. Ojine mu tintinte. Na ohwe ne niye ono ye fixer.
There's a bakoya kokra. Na bakoya.
Oh, there be nyabotre. Oh, nyabotre fati. Oh, wo den say mi sheme mu. Na sa brantie we sami. Ye kase ade na ebu. So, na engine ono. Or a fixer. I no pay too fast. Baby, I will be a michiano.
Okay.
Na fixing ne dear. Or fixing bibia mum. Na fund no. I say, leaky kakra. On fixing COVID fund no. On fixing HMS fund ne kakra. It's something penny forward there.
I think board members now. Board members now say your mom what say. Zianchiane Bar as members of the board now. Also, more WhatsApp hi.
Yes, hello.
Now
you say.
Near who say, and Chiano.
Yeah.
Womwate.
Yes.
Na womo asum.
Yeah.
That's the only way we can communicate with them.
Exactly.
And Chia watch you know. Also, board members now. Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
Eba. Then we can further the conversation on WhatsApp.
I agree with you, Sammy. Cool. Sammy, if you want, na akademi de back where me do show no so answer na you wrap papers no. Ochina eye arehoda emaye Global Media Alliance because yenua nyame tun sa frɛ no 2 weeks ago I friend Dr. Khan ochina na ye be ye in 1 week na Sammy menim say what details of baby atumedi no be koso na ochina adofo well wishes, friends, family, sympathizers. Ochina no nyame adoma yebehia ewo Tesano Police Academy sami sesa eho ena yebehia wa yenua Dr. Khan yebepe 1 week yebeye 1 week amano se nebeya yebe kai no ene juma obedi e ofia nti obi a oti ye bia no on share no so se ochina yabaya 1 week ama yenua Francis Khan to do na friend Dr. Khan ewo Tesano Police Academy police training school sam sesa yeah nti monshare no so say achina jumedi kese ya be koso ho enso eno nti sami maybe dey over to me take over
the Daily Graphic and the shares Daily Graphic and a front page stories will say collaborate to restore productivity of marine life president to ACP state and we are building new economy. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Ekasa, former Second Lady Hajara Matu Aliu Mahama dead. On a 2021 National Best Farmer receives 600,000 Ghana cedis from ADB. And no Elhonoma and also Oman for Ebitumi Akinkai Ebi Togolese government dismisses more teachers. And Kabori moved to home. And also other stories in NATO pledges more assistance for Ukraine and neighbors. Turkey suspends Khashoggi trial, transfers it to Saudi Arabia. And this is Oman for a bit me, I can kind of be guide children to find their own path, parents advised. And a CEO of Jospon Group, Arnett, and also Elhonma, amount for bit me, I can kind of be Lands Ministry denies spending 10 million on Galamsey conferences. Raymond, sorry, no, any. Lands Ministry denies spending 10 million Ghana cedis on Galamsey conferences and no Elhonum.
And the moment details no.
All right. Other stories, any our help break 8-year cycle. Musa Superior and Kasa and also Elhonoma Oman for bit me I can kind of be build cooperation among yourselves. AG Ajaj Best Minister for 2021. First Lady commends KGL Foundation. US provides additional $24.7 million to enhance vaccination. Land management agencies team up to improve land use. And final stories, GCUC makes strides within challenges. New global payment platform in the offing. And no Honoma, James Reinhold Infoniato, founder and CEO of Genio Pay, and also so Honum. Ahead of Kou Easter, Mesty, others launch plastic waste management campaign. Zoom Lion supports with 300 bins and other logistics. In 3 air stories are award on President Akufo-Addo bestows Grand Medal on outgoing U.S. ambassador and a restrict export of agricultural produce. AGI urges government. Kandapa calls for collaboration to sustain peace. When you air stories are award Kratanimu.
New Weekend Crusading Guide. Ghana's future safer, brighter under NPP. Abokobi Lorry Station to receive facelift as Ghana East Assembly handover to contractor. 13 years after going in and out of court, Supreme Court vindicates ex-Universal Merchant Bank worker. Sanitation Minister charges Jospon to lead in green energy. COA FS boss unveils 5-year strategic plan set to deliver public lecture on peace and leadership. And no Honum. Ukraine war, veterans prepare for battle in occupied Luhansk. Sasuna, how many Ukrainians have fled their homes and where have they gone? And also a special feature, a war paper nimu. Other stories are Ubenya B. Akai essay. Social media honors Jackie Chan as he turns 68 today. Sankara's widow welcomes ex-president sentencing. Former Nigerian President Jonathan survives road crash. And no ewo honum. So and government spent 10 million cedis on 10 conferences and dialogues on Galamsey fight. Honorable Suhini alleges. And no ewo honuma yede response aba from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Ubetmi apebi akai. Works and Housing Minister holds talks with Moroccan counterpart on affordable housing. Illegal miners contributing to water shortage in Ghana. Ministry of Water Resources (ENA-ECA). Obuasi Municipal Assembly support farmers with 1,000 coconut seedlings. And no Ewohonim Saso and Dr. Caesar commend Dagbon youth for remembering Asantehene. Weighing in our the New Weekend Crusading Guide.
Ghanaian Times Anopese at the TESCON confab, economic fundamentals strong despite COVID-19, Russia-Ukraine conflict. Vice President Baumia and Odessa Semwe Etuja Enra. There will be no doomsday, Energy Ministry Paris claim. Government commits to support expansion of green energy sector. President decries decline in oceans worldwide. ECG gives 6 institutions 3 days to pay 8.2 million Ghana cedis or face disconnection. JB Dankwa murder case, accused and cross-examination of 7th prosecution witness. Head teacher gets 15 years for defiling JHS girl. Fisherman jailed 15 years for defiling girl. 10. So I mean, that's a teachers no fishermen no. It's a problem. Yeah, problem about. Supreme Court permits Abronia DC to serve writ on minority leader, 8 other former government appointees. Then you know, a paper no ediaba. Mali probes alleged massacre by Russian fighters. Burkina Faso ex-president freed from detention. Fight against Galamsey. Lands Ministry denies spending 10 million Ghana cedis on confabs and dialogues. Now, Lands Ministry had the statement by a statement, you know, the statement sought to tell us, but exactly what they spent, no, or to me, and for contrary figure to what member of the Lands and Natural Resource Committee, no, at the buyer, it's Sisiano, and I say medical catch or say, I can information, no, into Mako activity, right to information. Processes in my film, and I say, the BBI and me expect to say some information I'm sure on how much was spent. I'm sure contrary figure to 10 million now so in the Abano. I'm hoping say by next week no Mensanka and then we proceed to court. Now court the code about ministry no. And see and I'm yet to no updates na me de bro no. And by all means there you be who figure no. Judiciary key to national security Kandapa and all this same way at Tuja. Na feature be our paper no anope or say details of Apiati reconstruction should be public information. So I mean Ghanaian Times page 4 editorial or say details of Apiati reconstruction should be public information. So I mean I know asema na assemble ko am page by almost say Dr. Joyce I appealed to Apiati reconstruction team to be guided by the aftermath of 1666 London fire that led to the construction of London as a modern city. So I mean, will be a fair comparison with free. London, Apiati. Cultivate more gardens to protect the environment. An honest story, Waha. Disagreement in Parliament over referral of absentee MPs healthy for democracy, Okujeto Ablakwa. Strengthening internal party structures will increase NPP votes in 2024. And also Ayasama aspiring for regional chairman, and also Odia Tuja. PNC not opposed to e-levy, but on the question at all, I know Ayasama Janet Nabla, and also Odiaba Anope Amede Abremo Ewo paper no. Na Sami ECG or say 6 institutions, one man with 3 days to pay 8.2 million Ghana cedis or face disconnection. Now according to ECG no. Ministry of Communications, UNDP, National Information Technology Agency, NITA, Internal Audit Agency, Kofi Annan Center of Excellence, Yoko, Sami Okaskani in Abuma, 8.2 million Ghana cedis. ECG say, 3 days time no, on be disconnect your money now. Wait, and in summer, and pay. Ghanaian Times, Ediaba.
We share the final newspaper in Manapaya stories, AB in a public debt. 50.1 billion Ghana cedis borrowed for 3 expenses, attracting 8.5 billion interest annually. Dr. Baumia Ena Ekasa, ECG to disconnect Communication Ministry, NITA, UNDP, others over 8.1 million Ghana cedis debt. Energy Ministry, the banks doctored Don Costume sought to return claim. And Ramadan, acidic foods are a bad choice to breakfast. Outgoing U.S. ambassador to Ghana given a national honor. We know our stories on the page. The finder at the Abraham.
Daily Guide. Baumia mesmerizes at economy lecture. Raffles NDC. Haja Ramatu Mahama passes on. Ministry denies 10 million cedi Galamsey confab allegation. Deputy Minister sues newspaper for defamation. RS Blade lecture today. Nana Honest U.S. envoy. Eno ewo honum. Saso ena oko paper nimwa stories biya ubenye bi akain. Fitzgerald Odonkor challenges 27.5 million paid to Ato Essien. Hypocrisy rules the world. Call for Mozambique crocodile call as 8 killed. And also Ewo Honum. Saso and other stories are Ubenya Ewo paper nimu essay. Ministry Makinda that substituted service for double salary MPs. Deputy Minister sues newspaper for defamation. Nana managers silent on second baby. And no Ewo Honum. Academy to dismiss Bull Smith slap Friday. Where munina stories are offer daily guide newspaper Ubenya bi akai ewo.
The custodian Anopese can storm Stema Port to block revenue leakages. Odeni who donates to Muslims in Ashanti region. Bawumia kills NDC propaganda on economy, says NPP has track record of success. Government will support Jospon Group to succeed Sanitation Minister. Way air stories our front page of the custodian Anopei.
The Inquisitor Anopei, refreshing news. Dumsor is never coming back. Ministry of Energy replies Dr. Donko. Babak Kamara, Dangote and super deal. 1 year on, Electrochem Ghana proves skeptics wrong with success stories on Ada salt project. GISD EC Paris allegations against board chairman. And Akua FS boss launches 5-year strategic plan. When you know air stories are a work cratano and a pay.
Daily Statesman, NPP to set up party training school. First Lady, Ghana can rise above our challenges. We are on the right path in spite of global economic crisis, Dr. Bawumia. Ghana will never return to Dumsor. Energy Minister Ena Ekasa Semwe. Saso Ena Koda CEO urges tidal waves victims to see relocation as key. Land Ministry shoots down minorities' allegations. And no Ewo Honum. Police NIB to probe alleged extortion in school placement. Tackling global warming through promotion of clean cooking energy. And also a story a what paper nemo. Saso and STMA debunks embattled mayor's reinstatement rumors. And no Ewo Honum. Bank of Ghana warns against transactions in foreign currency. It's time to benefit from God-given minerals. Land Minister Ena Eka. Secondita credit traders banned from market cooking. We air stories are obenya ewo Daily Statesman.
The Chronicle Anopese, Bawumia speaks. Yes, we have borrowed, but we have used it judiciously. You know, the big story about front page of the Chronicle Anope. Kwa FS boss delivers peace and leadership lecture in Cape Coast. Akufo-Addo meets Jordan in London. We any stories Anope offer Chronicler Obetumi Akan.
The Republic Press Anopei stories on Ato Essien board indicted as former Capital Bank MD dodges blame in 27.5 million Ghana cedi stealing scandal. Omo at the Pastor Menso Hotel Infoni Atuonum, Omo the Reverend Fitzgerald Odonko, and so Infoni Atuonuma Ato Essien Ankas and Susan Infoni Edahonum. It will be an interesting read. See a core details into the story. Ghana is hard, Bawumia admits. Akufo-Addo has built more factories in Ghana than Nkrumah and other presidents combined. Gabi Ena Ekasa. Aliu Mohammed's wife is dead. Dumsor Day is over. Energy Ministry to Ghanaians. Into any stories are
Daily Analyst. Former Second Lady Hajia Ramatu Mahama passes on. MPP government has abolished 18 separate taxes despite revenue challenges. NPP transforming Ghana despite current global crisis. Bawumia. All set for Koa FS Boss's lecture on peace at UCC Auditorium on Sunday. NDC will cancel e-levy if it wins 2024, Samit Jemfi assures. Dumsor not coming back, Energy Minister replies, Kwabena Donko. And no Ewo Honum. Saso and Shanghai residents running out of food in COVID lockdown. U.S. Speaker of House Nancy Pelosi tests positive for COVID-19. And no Ewo Honum Saso and misconceptions about careers in the tourism and hospitality sector. And no under perspective Ewo paper nimu. Government awaits e-levy cash for sea defense project. NADMU. And I'm one say, government awaits e-levy cash for sea defense projects. NADMO.
No,
Ena eka. NADMO.
David, Obi or NADMO eka.
Government is awaiting proceeds from the controversial electronic e-levy to facilitate the construction of sea defense projects in coastal communities ravaged by tidal waves. An amount of 10 million Ghana cedis have been earmarked from the e-levy for assessment and construction of the sea defense project from Elobu to Aplao. Communication Director of Disaster Management Organization, George Aisi.
Sammy. Opinion on the Kasaya also in fact only figures.
Only figures no.
Or see 11 or much and
then based on then and all say if only what I say he doesn't have a report on the whole situation.
You remember I said during the approval of the budget, it was quite clear, say not the e-levy, but a certain allocation of the ministry in the budget was supposed to have gone into Keta feasibility studies in India man. It's a ban saying as another e-levy cash na de kwakwe. Interesting.
Many Ghanaian lecturers not fit to teach. They are people teachers. Wisconsin University Board Chair, Ena Eka. Wean yourselves off drugs, young MP sensitized student. Majority afraid their MPs will be removed if reports of absentee MPs are voted on in Parliament. Stop buying hot food in plastics, Minister warns Ghanaians. Using 21 billion cedis to collapse 9 banks, partly to blame for Ghana's economic crisis, Professor Adai Ena Ekasa Semwe. Ubejawe Ewo Daily Analyst made the Accra Times air to us. So Bagbin cries as House goes on recess, insists the Supreme Court ruling has made the work of the House more difficult. Weak enforcement affected mining sector, Minister Jinapo Ena Eka. North Dai MP supports SHS students with items on prospectus. Kwabna Donkwa Kweza's lands minister. Bagbin to journalists, you wield a great deal of dominion. And no Ewo Hono, Menfa, the Business and Financial Times, and Twaso. Vodafone Health Line rescues 10-year-old victim of multiple rapes. Hollard partners University of Cape Coast to ready students for post-academic success. Sanitation Minister assures Jospon Group of government support and all those who invest in the sanitation and water space. We will weather the storm. VIP upbeat about economy. Bank of Ghana warns against unauthorized forex trading. Investors shy away from T-bills due to unattractive rate. And no Ewo Honum. So and government to acquire patrol boats for checking IUU activities in fisheries. Minister Hawakumsin Ena Ekasa Semwe. Ghana Youth Agriculture Summit kicks off tomorrow, and also Ewo paper Nimwa Ubetumi Akansa. So and GSA donates to Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and the China's chairmanship BRICS launches vaccine and RD center. We stories are Ubenya Ewo, the Business and Financial Times.
Andy can come at the informal ban or pay na offer informal paper na stories our front page. Kesiapa, we've managed economy better than John Dramani Mahama. Bamia declares. Hamifa headline ibio. We've managed economy better than Mahama. Bamia declares. Sami, it's one in the bayaju.
See, we are who express our. We are.
Party. One in the yard.
We are.
Oh, Party, I did my kind 3 times. No. When Vice President Bamia yaju.
You do,
you do answer now.
You do.
On sliding into Doomsor, former minister raises red flags. Energy minister reacts. Towards promoting parliamentary business, let's eschew mistrust and acrimony, Afenyo Markin urges. Investment in green energy, government confidence in Jospon Group. UN bemoans climate change hypocrisy. Osiahene pursues unity, warns encroachers and looters of Osu properties to stay off. Efforts at arresting depreciating city. BOG gets tough. na education and warning kakra wɔ ha me de bɛbrɛ mo. So stop buying hot food in plastics. Minister warns Ghanaians. We a Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, Dr. Kuku Efie, or say Ghanaians should stop purchasing food wrapped in plastics in order to avoid the risk it poses to one's health. It is, I mean, we any stories are not paying for my Ediaba.
Yo, Raymond, I believe said my final paper the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. With your front page, I will say, keep faith with NPP. Bawumia tells Ghanaians. Capital Bank case. I didn't approve 27.5 million Ghana cedis to ASEAN. Former MD Enna Ekasa. ADB presents prize to 2021 best farmer. And the government pledges support for JGC. Urges them to go into green energy. And three air stories are Kratano Ede Ebreye. Yamoshi Nafe ni yenko your website ni for stories or only be embre adofo unless there's a paper yenka hwasem. Your website happyghana.com and stories or on be any anopay. Bawumia admits Ghana going through challenges but assures Bibia Baye Ye Aliyu Muhammad's wife is dead. Spending on COVID-19 banking cleanup payment of excess power accounted for Ghana's high debt. Bawumia and Ekasa. Bawumia insists Ghana's economic fundamentals are still stronger. And no Kennedy Ejapon donates 2.7 million Ghana cedis to NPP. E-levy is a necessary evil. Kennedy Ejapon and Ekasa stop pricing goods and services in foreign currencies. And a students' loan trust fund dismisses reports of defaulting payment to beneficiaries. We stories on pay happyghana.com at the abrain.
Citynewsroom.com and pay stories awaha epi enye. Bawumia did not make any serious intellectual remark during lecture. Isaac Adongo. Non-teaching staff in colleges of education declined GTEC's invitation over planned strike. Bawumia avoids commentary on e-levy during lecture on economy. Bawumia avoids commentary on e-levy during lecture on economy. Yamba. Say na una na work as well.
I'm worried about
it. Dina me bisa. Yamba.
The castle I know.
I want to acquire a program.
Sir. Una na ojine mu dede
you bacho.
My updates. Na
bacho. Mama updates. Yeah, I only listened. Not intermittently. Some of the parts I missed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. COVID-19. Banking sector cleanup cause of high debt stock. Vice President Bawumia. Bawumia blames negative credit ratings, chaotic budget approval, others for woes of the city. Also, citynewsroom.com and opera. Other stories Obekai will say, we don't envisage accommodation challenges in SHSs after abolishing double track education ministry. Internal Audit Agency owes ECG 545,000 Ghana cedis. We are directly affected by Russia-Ukraine war. We are directly affected by Russia-Ukraine war. Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia and all this assembly atuja. Late Vice President's wife, late Vice President Aliyu Muhammad's wife dies. Final story I say, I acknowledge we are going through challenging times. Vice President Bawumia. And final story say, serve double salaried MPs with rate via substituted service. Supreme Court orders. When you know a story, sir, over citynewsroom.com website now. Over to me, okay.
Google News. Okoboy narrates how Randy Abe prophesied Ghana's qualification to the World Cup. Bawumia on what has happened to Ghana's economic fundamentals. Thomas Partey to see specialist as Arsenal fear Ghana midfielder could be out for a lengthy spell with thigh injury. And no air will honum sasso and what drives Chinese migrants to Ghana it's not just an economic decision. And also a story I will have them. Ghana, UK condemn Ukraine attack by Russia. Ghana International Bank makes loss of $16.5 million. We, according to Bright Simmons. We stories are oko Google News are ubenyebi akai.
Yentwa so na yemfa stories free CNN.com and bear oman for na oko CNN website stories or it be in the US commits thousands of weapons to Ukraine. Hundreds of suicide drones included in munitions Washington has or will provide to Kiev and Pentagon giving intel to Ukraine for operations in Donbass and Australian aid. Canberra sending 20 armored vehicles to Ukraine. Kremlin admits significant losses of troops. After weeks under Putin's bombs, these Ukrainians were given only one way out. And Putin exposed the limits of Macron's influence. And also and a video appears to show execution of Russian prisoner by Ukrainian forces. And also Oman for with me can be a week of history and rabid partisanship encapsulates an extreme Washington age. 2 killed, many injured in Tel Aviv shooting. And the U.S. prosecutors say alleged Yakuza boss plan to sell missiles to Myanmar rebels. Bringing our stories up. A war, a CNN and a pay.
BBC.com and a pay say Russia fully withdrawn from northern Ukraine, UK, and Omodesa Semwe Abba. Russia losses in Ukraine significant. Kremlin and Omodesa Semwe Atuja. Russian troops discussed killings in Bucha. Report and Odessa Semwe Abba. Russia Nobel winner editor doused with paint. Russia's Nobel winner editor doused with paint. Video appears to show killing of captive Russian soldier. 2 killed in gun attack in heart of Tel Aviv. Senate confirms Ketanji Brown Jackson to court. Senate confirms Ketanji Brown Jackson to top court. And far-right Le Pen closes in on Macron in French race. Pakistan Khan set to face no confidence vote again. U.S. court asked to hold Trump in contempt. And a shock particle result could spark physics revolution. BBC.com, Diaba Anope.
Reuters News. Explosion in a bar kills 8 at Congolese military camp. Nigeria to hear all terrorism trials in secret, judge rules. Sparring Somali leaders now at odds over expulsion of African Union envoy. We story Salbenya Ewo. Reuters News.
More kwaba na ya kaos jumedi Koso live Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Your handle no a happy 989 FM and I say 80 Ghana. And to bet me follow a jumedi no these platforms or comments or thoughts be a pacho or the fahona de brain. Yensa ever kanya kan edi ama oman for Ghana Meteo 4 update on the brain. Northern Ghana will be cloudy this morning with pockets of rain, but sunny conditions will follow as the day unfolds. Over the south, a bright start is expected. Cloudiness with the possibility of rain and thunder is expected in the afternoon, especially over the forest areas. And no other stories in Aflao, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast, Takrade, Axim. Any hope would be misty this morning. Temperature lowest will be around 26 degrees Celsius. We have thunderstorms and rains are expected for some parts, and some parts would experience partly cloudy moments with temperature around 32 degrees Celsius. And you may say would apply with temperature decreasing to 28 degrees Celsius. For the northern belt, Yendi, Tamale, Bole, Damangobo, Gatanga, Nalegu, and Wa, it will be mostly partly cloudy with lowest temperature around 26 degrees Celsius. Intermittent sunny moments are expected with the temperature around 39 degrees Celsius. And you may some areas may experience some thunderstorms and some areas may experience some cloudy moments, but temperature will be around 32 degrees Celsius. Into we and a year update the Ghana Meteo for a day abraya pay Jumedi no eso. Yo, yentwaso na yendi enkomo na yedi nkomo dia fati. I think say
yebeko na yakofa trending issues no aba trending issues yenya yenim endra Jumedi ekopie mu ewo Kaswa area no mu hono ma Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ekokasa ye ewo Jumedi bi ase enti no ama hashtag Bawumia trendy ewo social media. Now one of ensemna Vice President ekaye no na okasa about Ghana efi 2017 ekosi 2021 na afe no or say 2017 ekosi 2021 no current account position, Ghana's current account position no is stronger than between 2013 and 2016 or can some bebre enti no ye mu nkaka and I deliberate for any ashe for mama yenhwe video enti their Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kan area na fe ye the comment no at us.
Widening of the deficit in 2020 and 2021 as a result of COVID-19. Even that, notwithstanding COVID-19, our current account position between 2017 and 2021 is much stronger than that between 2013 and 2016. Improvements in the current account performance and increased capital inflows have helped to boost Ghana's international reserves. The data shows that gross international reserves increased from 6.1 billion in 2016 to 8.4 billion 4 months of import cover by 2019, and subsequently to 9.6 billion 4.4 months of import cover at the end of 2021. By February 2022, the gross international reserves had decreased marginally to 9.5 billion for 4.3 months of import cover. So in terms of gross international reserves, our economic situation is still much stronger than what it was in 2016 period. Now we come to the fiscal balance.
And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ekaya commenter Ibaye Ebi Enye Amos Afeji say. So NAPCO personnel listened and clapped for Bawumia, explaining why he has not been able to pay their meager stipends, which is in arrears for 7 months. I can't think far. Yakubu Abdul Rauf say, the funny thing is the struggling and unemployed youth who are shouting and screaming to every lie being said. We have a long way to go as a country. Hashtag state of the economy. Nanaba Bernard Champon say brilliantly and explicitly delivered Ghana's greatest and enviable asset. We are proud of you. Aye Andrew is saying, Ghanaians are not interested in your comparison. The better you refer to should be expression in our pocket. Get serious and stop the textbook lectures and face the real situation. Nanaya, I'll say, please, sir, stop making mockery of yourself. At least maintain the little respect you have. Ghanaians aren't fools anymore, with all due respect, sir. Max Asuma Jr. said, the good thing is that we shall all pay the e-levy, buy fuel, pick trotro, buy kinky. As for this economic mess, we all day inside, and probably economically better than those chatting or clapping as if they are Nigerian fetish priests. I know if you want to know more. Vice President Sign so Ekanye say, and talk between Russia and Ukraine no directly no affected Ghana ye ankasa enti no ni nyina eka ho na ama enuama ase de ewo ho no na oka asa no comment ebi ebaye enie Sheila Amitson say, when at all will you people accept responsibility and stop blaming it on any other thing? When did this war start? Thomas say, Baumia, so what is the solution to the mess you have created due to incompetence, large government profligate and wasteful expenditure like $18,000 an hour on private jets? Enyimadu Andrew say, it is easy to blame others for your failure. You can spend your entire life blaming others, but your failure or success depends on your own responsibility. Abdul Jalil say, looking at how things are going, MPP government will blame the hardship on Ghanaians on Boko conflict. I say, excuses are the hallmark of failure. His strategy is simple. Let's confuse the people with long talk and plenty jargons. If you want to know, I go straight to Sami Jemfi. Sami Jemfi, National Communications Officer of the new National Democratic Congress (NDC). Na o say, NDC to me eba abaimu 2024. 11 na mudi hu abobo no omba abeyi efiri honom. Nti o say NDC to me eba abaimu 2024. Ye be cancel 11 no na afi no mumu no mo ya muntua sa tax ne biem. Commenter ebaye ebinie. Abu Kasim Kabore say, which government will scrap a tax that will regularly and reliably guarantee you a revenue of between 9 to 10 billion cedis annually? Bashman Rule say, NDC is a 419 entity. We have your records already. Talk to us, you accuse them, the then government and the Akufo, but when you came to power in 2008, talk to us was rather increased. Anso Jabokumi said, this guy will be nowhere near the Ministry of Finance to be telling us what will be and what wouldn't be. Besides, he will find a way to explain why they will even increase it. I can't trust him. Sad, essay, you are not in power yet to see the loopholes and mess left behind. You've already started promising same old stories. Kwadwo Bempase, NDC members said they will cancel communication tax introduced by MPP, but rather increase it when power switched. They prophesied one time NHIS, reduce fuel, never again. Any comments are eba so and I yenim say yeni Muslims fasting, and I say Ramadan this period other people omo fasting even though they omo try and say yebeka say ye fasting na eduane na pm na omo atwe omo chance akogege bie na fasting no unya bi wo particularly na fasting no mu no na video bi ebe pm say Muslim woman bi wako akodoji baby na odidie na obi akotwa video no enti mo mayen hwe video no. I cannot verify say we no skate keke and I say asem no cry see meaning say bia na say on social media especially TikTok no amanfo to me act out bibi just for the fun of it. Enti no I can't verify whether for the fun of it and I say no cry say Muslim bia doing fasting no odidie. But apart from that no so no person make say fasting no there are some situations bia wo mu a utumi exempt wo ho for both a man and bema nyina ebia nipa ne kra o yare ne ho mfa no ebia un expect say obi to say bia obema be fast strong antibiotics a obeka so member fasting nti ebia untumi hu say nipa no say ada no yare o so nyare o sabi oba so ubu nsa untumi nya fasting ni bi nti unnim so we bu ni so so bu ni so. And sometimes the people hide to eat say ne be ya they will not who ye fasting no be didn't tell number disturb until all those things happen. But mama yenhwe video no the echo see who never hands up obi and me residence and na abai we akoshe kirewa odi aduane kakra say no obi so tete bebia all capture no. Comment any story about any. Barak Sadiq say this is not true. It's just a plan to disrespect Islam, but it's going to work inshallah. Yao Madrista say, why do we hide behind religion and lie to ourselves? We should be real to ourselves for Christ's sake. If you can't fast, it's not force. With this, you are receiving curses than blessings. Parkwesi Sympathy say, she overslept, so she couldn't eat before prayers. Wills Battelle say, hey, someone's song went like, God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. Edem Doleze say, Charlie, I support her. She can't starve to death. Eat na food is good and sweet. Amanya Akusi, you don't try the fasting, Abi? And also a question omo a Bisantino and then Friday edition of social media trends, aha, and yedi ABC something.
Alright. Wait,
Sammy.
no penny and auntie.
Sammy, Monopedia sell to me, a mammy, we guidance kakra, because me baby, I'll say, me tackle assembly free. And also, person me tackle from Vice President Baumia, and I'll person me tackle from Sammy J.F. And I say, what the mammy guidance kakra.
The major issue obvious, Vice President, and not the speech you deliver.
Okay. Sammy? First of all,
I don't know what page your chest is at.
release
your chest.
Sammy, first of all, and now speech now, Vice President Bami the buyer. Was it for Ghanaians or was for the NDC? And the first question I'm pursuing about. And I'm asking this because the Vice President consistently said, say, we did X, Y, and Z better than the NDC. We have done ABCD better than the NDC. He kept making that reference. Again, when he was talking about digitalization, he kept saying, say, and still they say they don't see. And still they say they don't see. And still they say they don't accept digitalization. And America said, who was he speaking to in the first place? Who was he addressing? The NDC or Ghanaians?
But it's the NDC which had been taunting him, say, Yentin can be him.
Okay. So he was addressing the NDC.
Obviously.
Granted, that is the case. Nema no kaya nyenano. The statistics, the figures, the people are the buyer. Since it was not addressed to we Ghanaians, but the NDC, not every Ghanaian is NDC. Not every Ghanaian is NPP. Until some of us have decided, say, we will not speak to the content of what he brought because it wasn't to us. But I mean, this NPP government has sought to blame everything that has happened in this world for their inability to deliver an economy. When I'm walking in the streets, I can walk with confidence because I know, say, I can survive under any condition at all. Sammy, the NPP has blamed COVID-19 for their woes as far as dealing with the economy are concerned. NPP has blamed Russia-Ukraine war. The NPP has blamed MPs fighting on the floor of parliament for the city's behavior. The NPP has blamed the sun when it didn't shine. They have blamed the sun when it shined too much. They have blamed the rain for not falling. They have blamed the rain for falling too much. They have blamed the moon for not appearing. Blame the moon for appearing. Sammy, they have blamed almost everything. Sammy, credit rating agencies. Almost say, almost drop here ratings. They have blamed everything for their inability to deliver. Sammy, they've blamed everything by themselves. They've blamed almost every other element outside the real picture, but they've not pointed fingers at themselves for Omwankasa role in managing this economy. Sammy, yesterday, the Vice President sought to tell us that the NPP had managed the economy better than Mahama. It is true. Let us assume, say, John Dramani Mahama managed the economy poorly. Sammy, what did Ghanaians do? When John Dramani Mahama, granted, let's assume without admitting that he messed up everything. What did Ghanaians do? In 2016, Ghanaians kicked him out of office. So, Ghana was handed over to a group of competent people who were supposed to deliver us from the wilderness. Sammy, we are still in the wilderness. But the people who we gave Ghana to deliver us are telling us, oh, despite the fact that we are in the wilderness, we have even tried and the person who brought us to the wilderness in the first place. Sammy, why did we vote for you then? Sammy, shouldn't we Ghanaians sit down and compare the NDC government to the NPP government? Dr. Bamia shouldn't be telling us. Dr. Bamia shouldn't be telling us that the NPP have done better than the NDC. We should know, we should feel it. You see, Ghanaians should feel it, Ghanaians should see it, Ghanaians should hear it, Ghanaians should talk about it. Sammy, the moment you start telling us that, oh, despite the fact that Ghana is hard, but we have done better than Kofi or we've done better than Ama, Sammy, it's a complete admission of failure. You have failed. Sammy, you've lost the plot. Sammy, today, if I'm buying petrol for 2 cedis, 50 pesos per liter, should I wait for you to come and tell me that you've done better than the previous government? No. I should say it myself. Sammy, I'm not paying me top bread. Bread I'm turn 1 cedi, and I'm turn 2 cedis. The weight of that 2 cedi bread compared to the 1 cedi, I was shocked. I said, they're not going. Sammy, if I bought that bread for 50 pesos today, at the previous price of 1 cedi, you think I'll wait for somebody to come and tell me that the economy is reflecting in my pocket, or it's reflecting on everything around us? Sammy, you see, this lecture, I don't know why we forced the vice president to go and deliver this lecture. And that's why I'm saying that unless he was delivering it for the NDC, so the NDC will respond to it. But if it was to the good people of Ghana, Sammy, for some of us, me in particular, I don't think that it served me well.
All right. Fatty.
Thank you, Sammy. Say, my funny say, party member B, right? Kasa, will make fun say radio or TV so. Or show our address why.
Say party member B.
Whichever party or address say. Or Kasa or radio and TV so address why.
The constituents.
Debbie, that's not what
I address Ghana for.
Okay.
Okay.
Say party member B. Efa party for. Eko gather. Ewo baby. That's our address or address why.
The party for.
Okay. So do we agree that the program, any baby awo, has an effect on how we deliver on your manner?
No.
Being the first audience I will address it, answer the Ebeko out.
No.
Okay.
I don't agree.
That's your opinion. For me, I believe that the event would also affect how Obeka wasem and the people you are addressing, no, and send your address your mono So obviously there was going to be a bit of partisan. Your friend is saying, you know, talk be a woman, and nunko. I hear a lot of people saying, you say, Adena, vice president, or compare to, you know, NDC, and all compared to, uncompared to them. And we keep saying that because NDC, because Ghanaians failed to say, so the outcome no will say it's a Ghanaians decision. Because Ghanaians, if you listen NDC, and yet at the end, and will buy mono, and you know, come and do it better. And better, no, what are you comparing the better with to tell, say, this was better than this? Obviously, they are touching on say brana beyer because on ni ye no wo ye ni ye change sa nipa na. So obviously it will come in. Into omuka say we are doing better than the NDC, we are doing better. I don't see any problem with it. The only problem I have is your better good enough for nipa na ya to abane ma ona na. What shows it says see I will better now also why than NDC, no. If NDC were still in power, they would also not have done better than you. That is what I think we should talk about. Because comparison, we can't say that don't come and compare yourself to the previous administration. Then what are we comparing with? What we are asking, they say, we better now, so why you know? Is it good enough for us? Are we feeling we better now? If we are dear bro, so your best. Not say your best is still not good enough for us. Of course, we'll be looking for alternatives, and also we'll be looking for Obia. We think so Obia better than we best now. You know, I don't know. That is what the conversation should be. As for the comparison, of course, it will come. Then again, let's not forget that we are not isolated as Oman. We intertwine. We export things, we import things, and all those things. So whatever is happening where we do business or we trade, obviously it will affect us. But what we want to hear and say, if you are saying, say, because of this and that, internet and your my say no, what are you doing about it? The ben obey they also bet me afa ho. The ben I bet me start a feeling effect and positive effect of adia also bet me no. If you just come and tell us what we already know, you come and join us to lament, say, you whole 3 years, say now. Then what are you there for? And I say, what are you doing there? Tell us, you identify the problem, it's a good thing, it's part of the solution. Into why identify a problem, no, then that is it. If we are saying, say, me funny say Ukraine supply fertilizer or whatever it is, that's a bad affected way. Nigeria, almost started so you don't go take any fertilizer and stuff. What are we doing about it? If Nigeria is seen to be doing something through Dangote, that's a fertilizer, no, that they don't have to go and import fertilizer again. That's a bomb economy. What are our steps? These are the things I wanted to hear. Say solutions in here, not to come and tell us what you already know again. But as for the comparison and as for the mentioning of other countries to say what's why a day and all that, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Sammy, quickly. You see, on this issue of comparison, Sammy, it is a fact.
Even you yourself, we compare our own past achievement with our current achievement. Even who exams, that's who failing now some for. The Albanian would compare their own now to because first no C and then B.
Sammy, you see, I like baby afati diafa. Sammy, if I wrote exams and I failed in 2016, and I'm going to 2021, and I'm trying to compare to the 2016 one, then I'm possibly telling you, say, my yard dear pa, me who say, my yard dear,
yeah,
great improvement, and I'm it's not me yes I compare. But I mean,
but then again, the thing is that what if baby, I mean, funny say the exam no, you need to get A to be able to progress, right? Not first time no, you got C,
yes,
and the second time no, when you B, still you can't go to the next step because when you A no. When you're B, but at least the B is better than the C. That's what they are trying to say.
Fatty, you see, question I may be saying, Sammy, this comparison you are doing and giving yourself marks, indeed you have done better than government. You free because clearly no, we've not seen any significant change in the state of affairs. Rather no. You are forcing Ghanaians to go into a situation where they are saying that, as a previous government, they can no more addressing with them. So you are forcing us to accept, say, you see, they are forcing improvement, they are forcing progress down our throats. They are forcing it on us by consistently repeating, say, despite the fact, say, COVID about we have done better than that previous government. That is why I'm saying that. If indeed Ghanaians believe, say, their lives have changed, and now we've moved on from where we were under John Dramani Mahama. And you want to catch you. Sam, you don't remind us.
All right.
You see, the improvement will speak for itself. That's why I gave the comparison. I mean, if we were buying fuel at X price, it was high at the time. And we are possibly buying it at a lower price compared to what we were buying it under that government. So, I mean, I'm not sure you would have to come and remind me. Say you have done better. We can see. It should speak for itself. So when we hide behind numbers, when you hide behind statistics, numbers, bias data, bias statistics, and data us. I mean, you cannot tell me say you can strike an average of 4 years, strike an average of 5, and tell me say average I was striking of 5 because you're small and you've done better. So I mean, you see, some of the data. You see, that is what I'm saying. I will not speak to some of the statistics that were put out, but if you want to speak to it clearly, so I mean, the statement that came yesterday, for some of us, really, there was nothing in it for us.
Well, come on, Fatih. I think so. You made your points clear, but maybe in fact, more macro come on now, you know, because macro na dey statistics never. Statistics, you know, I won't sit here and pretend that a document which has been prepared over a period of months. I'll use a few hours to understand the content of that document to seek to explain it to my viewers and my listeners. I'll look at the micro. If we are talking about doing better. And you see, Fatih, you are asking, say, comparison, no? Yeah, with Wire. No two tenors are the same. No two tenors are the same.
True.
The previous government, though it was led by His Excellency the President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, it's not having the same ministers it was having previously. Certain ministries which were in that government are not in this government. And so if there is a comparison, if we are looking for a point to compare, we have transitioned from one point to another. We are in a second tenure of another government. And so if you are making the comparison, when we took off in 2017, this is what we did. This is where it's gotten us. And this is where we are. It's a point of reference for a comparison. Not so? So you are asking, why can't we have another point of comparison? That's another point. No two tenures are the same. Let's get that clear. So if we are comparing, there is a point of reference for the government to make the comparison to, not necessarily referencing 2016, 2013 of John Dramani Mahama administration. So at that point, I want us to make it clear. For me, it was obvious certain things were going to feature in that speech by His Excellency the President. I knew former President John Dramani Mahama was going to feature. I knew COVID-19 was going to feature. I knew that Ukraine, Russia war would feature. I knew the moment they feature, we will go a certain line. I knew the banking sector cleanup was going to feature. But I'll try to simplify the conversation for any viewers. And then, yeah, can say, few Tony saying 2016, near to few saying, me say macro no, that be I won't go the macro because I have always insisted to many of my financial experts and financial friends and economists, doing community analysis. I say I don't believe in the macro. Because for most of the times, the macro does not translate into the micro. Look, we have been brandishing, low inflation, stable CD, and yet, as to whether it translates into the pockets of the people, is another matter. Monetary policy rate, it has gone as low as 13.5. Mewa.
Yeah.
But did it translate into the banking sector as to the rate of interest that bankers, businessmen,
never.
No. So for me, I don't want to talk about the macro. No, I don't. Because for me, they are just indicators. As to whether the indicators are real or not, that is where statistics come in. I have my issues with statistics. But I ask, and the transport first you're saying, how much are we paying for the same trotro and Malam to Kaneshi? It has increased. And then people are concerned. Your salary at the same. And then food prices, nibo at the same. And so if we are able to, the vice president likes, in the past, liked the market analysis, where the reality on the ground is what he discusses, not the macro. And so I ask, say, all these things which has to do with the standard of living of the individuals in this country, and then where are they? They are the skies. That's why he is honest enough to admit that, in one day, there are hardships. But to throw these figures in our faces, won't wash. Fatty, your man will say, and you're spending close to 21 billion. And the vice president mentioned it. See, the financial sector cleanup. And the headlines are there. Atuasian says this, and that says this, and all of that. 21 billion. And the financial sector cleanup. That video we play and we laugh about, that old man who says that we will die and they will come and kill us. Do you know where that video is coming from? It is coming from the financial sector cleanup. They are looking for their money. The assurance we were given as Ghanaians, and they say, we don't want anybody to lose his or her money. And yet at the point of collection, we were told that, we can give you a certain amount of money, the rest will be invested on your behalf. Immediately after that, we were told, some 5% tax had been introduced because of the 21 billion we had spent. At the time, what was the argument some of us were advancing? Some of us were advancing the argument that, look, as we were able to do for GATT, so as to oversee the activities of NIB and some other banks, the same could have been done for UT Bank and the rest of them, where government sets up an interim management team takes over these banks, run it for a period. When they are stable, it's handed over to another entity. Look, the unemployment that was created, the number of people who lost their jobs. Look, we overlooked that. But we always tell ourselves the banking sector was strengthened. How was it strengthened? How? If it's strengthened, the obvious is that, oh, you're going to see a loan now. Oh, you're going to be at a very reduced rate. It's saying. Maybe corporate governance in Sensem, it was strengthened. But the ability and the capacity of the banks to give loans, it is saying. We all know that the more the private sector thrives and does well, the more the country develops. What happened? And so for me, you know, I don't want a situation where, and we are where we are because of politics, partisan politics. Who doesn't know that we don't do politics with fear? Who doesn't know that there are certain things we don't do politics with them? Leave them out of your conversations and tell Ghanaians, we will do this, we will do that, we will do that. And so sometimes I cringe when I hear certain comments, oh, you're building more industries than even Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Really? Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? The industries are we see here. And then, in order for certain governments to look, what was the campaign message of what's his name, Andrews, Osofo Gum. His vision, his entire campaign was founded on the resuscitation of Nkrumah's industries. Just motorway. Governments have come, governments have gone. We can't maintain motorway. And so sometimes I wonder. And yesterday I was asking the question, say, I thought, say, from 1 to, let's say, 6. When you get to 6, you should be far more enlightened to do greater. But in our case, from the time I gained your independence, we are rather doing better. We had our own car manufacturing companies. We had our own TV assembling companies, radio, fridge, whatever. We had our industries. Virtually every contract was local-oriented contractors somewhere. But now everything is foreign sourced. How? I know a lot of the people who may be listening this morning may not be happy about our opinions that are being expressed. But the fact remains that some of us won't do the macroeconomic analysis. No. We will do the micro because it's the micro we feel. You go for a short breather at a bar. Info Sports Update and Brother 4.
It can never happen. Otherwise, we are going to turn the whole country upside down. One by one.
Well, how will you do it?
Well, we will die and they will bury us.
And you're welcome to the Happy Morning Show live on ETV, live on Happy 98.9 FM. Yemfa ayaba to Mary Monon for Sports Updates in the MBA.
Sami, enwa ekopie mu ewo Kaswa. Hona Vice President Bamia ede Nsemba kumienu etudwa ema NDC4 ene NPP4 na omo twehia ewo Nakachia. Asem everywhere sports no. Na nsem o ka fa sports no ho no. Medini na bebreti for ewo Jumede no so anope. Happy 98.9 FM. And I was go so out here, share so there ETV Ghana, and I share what Jumede no air the Happy Morning Show. I'm also send the sports updates by Bremo. I will show no so na 1xBet anytime each year. Me the morning show sports updates no Bremo 1xBet say come website so na 1xBet me can show say weekend we almost some 12,444 games here across various sporting disciplines: football, basketball, volleyball, tennis, hockey, ice hockey. Ninyina akensi a ukom website to games ninyina wo with various options a obetimi predict say na be ya pudo beba begu bottom 1xbet.com.gh 1xbet.com.gh and so to me do we need now do we need ho register na be a new account to register no be a new account about 200% bonus on your first deposit. We the message 1xBet say memfa bra no pay 1xBet say undi 18 na memfa we ni enter on website so go try bet. Betting addictive into bet responsibly. 1xBet say men can say bet for every taste. yen share dwumedi na sene share share from enra dwumedi a ekoso ewo kaso a Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia ede nsem kakra eto platform so a say to me ebobo ho na hwe se na aban no eto anamo ewo digitalization mo na Vice President say na digitalization ya yeken a nkofo hu yi eba sports mo kra yenya hu fa so ewo sports mo o say for the first time no Ghana enya sika bebre every gate proceeds so adentia o say Ministry of Youth and Sports, National Sports Authority and the Ghana Football Association eba together say Black Stars match na omo Nigeria bebo no on beton e-tickets or say tickets ne dey on beton no online na omo ton no online no obetimi monitor time at stadium be ma ne nyina digitalization process and omo fe mu a omo tumi yes agimedie no na say omo wieye no sika omo nyaaye no be say 1,423,000 Ghana cedis and omo tumi nyaaye na say we eye sika ewo the history of Ghana mo no sika omo nya pa ewo match attendance mo we ene nsema Dr. Bawumia edituja yentie de ono ankesa okan no.
Then we even applied it to the football tickets to address the inefficiency and corruption within the ticketing regime for football. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, in collaboration with the National Sports Authority and the GFA, piloted an e-ticketing system for the recent World Cup qualifying match between Ghana and Nigeria at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. People who wanted to buy tickets could do so on their mobile phone, and there was no need to queue or waste time for tickets or to buy them from the black market. I could watch from the dashboard hour by hour as the tickets were being sold, and I knew immediately when the stadium was full. You could watch it. It was a pilot, but it was a very successful pilot. And guess what? It yielded the highest revenue of 1.423 million Ghana cedis, the highest revenue for any football match in the history of Ghana.
President, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and this assembly to ja enra yanto aso na ewemo e Ghana Football Association for akachi Ghana Football Association dey to ja say MTN FA Cup quarter final fixtures no omo hwe nim say between the 13th and the 14th of April 2022 no sakensi no e say to me ekoso e 4 match venues na omo say Dreams FC and Kotoku Royals match no e bekoso e Theatre of Dreams Park e Dewu on the 13th of April. Almost Bechem United and the Tamale City match no Ebekoso Nana Fosu Jiaboa Park Bechem on the 13th of April 2022. Now Adriana Stars any can fight our match no almost no Ebekoso Nana Jima Bedu the first park Doma na Sky FC any Hearts of Folk match no Ebekoso Elwak Sports Stadium Accra on the 14th of April. We and Ghana Football Association Omudiaba FA MTN FA Cup quarterfinals room. Yeremo Ghana Premier League because this weekend here Ghana Premier League matches ebekoso across match centers ni nyina against University say Ochina na ekopiemo Obuasi Clay Sports Stadium Ashanti Gold betina fie na omne Wafa e dia face so ho na Accra Lions omso ombetina Accra Sports Stadium na omne Karela United e dia hyehyɛ so Dreams FC any 11 Wonders special Theatre of Dreams Park Dewu on Sunday. Bechem United any BPN Gold Stars special Nana Fosu Jiaboa Park Bechem also on Sunday. Brekum Chelsea any Legon City special Brekum Golden City Park. Na Midiama SC any Real Tamale United on special Akun Park Takwa. Ekopiemo Indum Sports Complex Elmina Sharks any Kim Faisal and Besia Isiakan na Accra Great Olympics on Martina Accra Sports Stadium na omini Adriana Stars e dia so na on Sunday big game of this round no super clash because Babaya Sports Stadium Sunday 6 p.m. Kumasi Asante Kotoko League leaders and Accra Hearts of Folk and the so almost third match on bebo in the course of this season and we and Sam Kaka Medebramo FA the Abekoso in the Ghana Premier League this weekend it's emotional to say big clash in there Kumasi Asante Kotoko any Hearts of Folk Meshia this weekend Babaya Sports Stadium na yedi kan ka kire mo say e-ticket no Kumasi Asante Kotoko say omo pese digitalization drive no omo so omo de ye omo de ma nti sisi ani de tickets no pese auto ticket for that match say otometo no online we any hyehyɛ penny for edia tuja Thomas Partey Ghana ni a Osiakan Emma Arsenal Football Club English Premier League no na Abrante we report say so to me who specialist because match Arsenal any Crystal Palace boy no abrante no etumi enya thigh injury we ama mpanyinfo ama specialist a share injury no na report say possible say he could spend a long time on the sidelines we any nsem kakra free Arsenal akachia eba almost number 5 ni de ya there say omutumi ehwe no say na be ya in temtem ara no ombetumi access no na wetumi aba back to playing football into we any nsem free Thomas Partey camper a big blow to Arsenal on top 4 ambition because a key player e wo team no ma omo hwe nim say injury ni de so to recover in term na wa be join fold no and match say course so e was Europa League any Europa Conference League no na say and result ni bi etumi ekoye e wo UEFA Europa League no Leipzig etina fie any Atalanta e bo 1-1 Braga etumi eche Rangers etwa by 1-0 Eintracht Frankfurt etina fie any Barcelona e bo 1-1 and West Ham United so any Olympique Lyonnais e bo 1-1 and ewo London Olympic Stadium. Yeremo ewo Conference League numdia final etina fie and Slavia Prague ebo 3-3. Bodo Glimt amotumechi Jose Mourinho AS Roma etwamu biom by 2-1. Na Leicester City and PSV ebo 0-0 and Marseille and PAOK amoso amotume ebo 2-1 ho Marseille and edinkuni ewo sakensi enumti we any result kakra efri ho ebaye. Yeremo ewo English Premier League numdia match day 32 of the English Premier League no big match because this weekend. League leaders Manchester City and Liverpool Beshia ewo Etihad we a title decider yenina yatuni din say title decider clash because so ewo Etihad City ewo 73 points Liverpool ewo 72 points ye share no say akansi we ebetumi ache team obetumi winning English Premier League no na for more details on the because so across the top flight leagues ewo Europe no tune into Happy Sports at 9 a.m. Hene Bampo Brenya and the rest of the team. Omutenasia, omudin semni na ebebremo. Aha, and I'm the Happy Morning Show sports update no ABC. Yabadani onkaka ya babaka. The Happy Morning Show continues.
Welcome back to the Happy Morning Show live on ETV Live on Happy 98.9 FM. Or share or watch now 20 minutes after 7. I'm hoping that your morning has started well. Easter is just around the corner. There's good news coming from a Happy 98.9 FM. I will share that information with you live on the show this morning. But Yamfa and CBG business tips no embro man for na financial say na yendi in komo and pay yen CBG business tips no tips for saving money and at your day embro. Try to keep track of your spending. Of Pierre Bontina say if you took 200 Ghana cedis, that's why budgeting is important. If you took 200 Ghana cedis, if you bought bread, if you bought water, if you record so that at the end of the day, when you come back to the house and you're trying to track how you spent your money, the list is there to aid you. Most of our phones have apps. It helps you to input your spending normal way throughout the day. And if you buy this, you put it on the phone. If they have notes, notes they call them. Just input it. At the end of the day, you know how you are spending your money. Other than that, I feel now na 200 media day na fi no. Keep track of your spending. Separate wants from needs. And you see a primary school the difference between wants and needs. And normally be on my and no way nya pattern change. Do you hear and no the patrol no eduma. Avoid using credit to pay for your bills. Or bills there, man for credit as ember. Save regularly and after check your insurance policies. Yamoshini and Kwahumanishini and Professor Lord Mensa Ndin Commander Pay na ENJ ne thoughts on the presentation by His Excellency the Vice President Enra Wabra. Now, or address Ghana for let me put it this way. And Roma Abino Aye so far. Prof, good morning.
Good morning,
Yo, now, but I'm not no to say. Prof, I know I would say Vice President, the presentation, how would you describe the presentation of Vice President?
It's more or less a situational report on the economy. Economy no baby any baby fiber, any baby so it's more or less the state addressing the state on the what do you call it the economic dynamics of the country, and then how is being impacted by now the global shocks. You receive this year to Putin shock in COVID now. Now, we're not going information to the public. Now, information to the public, as an economic manager, I think information will delay a delay ankasa because management of economics, the dynamics of the information, we don't take it for granted, especially when it's coming from the head of the management of the economy. And the timing is very, very important. At the time I also information about. COVID example. You realize that during the COVID crisis, the president was giving us an update, giving assurance, any of the directives or measures put in place. Normally, that's what happened in crisis. Crisis, at any point in time, you address the people for the people to know exactly where we are going. So I think the timing of the information, is quite, a problem. And I don't have problem with the content that came. Just a few, comments that came. Or the Kanwa and Kebeti because now with the kind of packaging or the buyers, ma as a Ghana for no confidence at the formula because it do baby now acquire it's like we don't have control over some of the things that are happening as a manager. But as a same manager, usually I use what we call the manager the only control over. And I am assessing but the manager's performance. The normal way to me I control it there. I am not normally In fact, I say basically it's more or less a situational report, but the timing is wrong because this thing was supposed to come earlier. I think Senka conference presentation I don't think the E-levy would have struggled being passed through in that. It is very, very important to note this. So I'll share time ID information back out. Management information especially. You cannot go quiet for so many months out after the people have gone through all the difficulties. The normal the people knows them already. The people have experienced them already in anticipation. More experience it that. It doesn't make impact on them because they have felt it already. But earlier on, and I said, measures I wanted to form now says you do it better, you do it better. I don't know, the people see you to be part of the problem and then you are solving it. Rather than you wait aftermath when the people have gone to now everybody knows that the prices are up. Everybody knows that inflation is up. Everybody knows that exchange rate has, it bounced. And timing of the information, very, very critical. I mean, when you are managing an economy.
Well, the point you make about the timing of the information and the allusion to the fact that we already knew what he was going to say. The finance minister gave the budget. In the budget presentation, he painted a similar picture for us in the budget presentation. The finance minister has been to Parliament a couple of times where he has also painted a picture of the situation. So really, what new did the Vice President's presentation bring?
Well, I think over here there were quite details on some of the expenditures that we've had in the past. As for the exchange rate dynamics that he was comparing to, the previous regime, I'm not happy with that because at the end of the day, you've handled the economy for 5 good years. And, economic memories always fade. So if you tell me to go and compare to 2016, it won't make sense to me in a way because once you have handled the economy for 5 years, we want you to, give us your regime, the dynamics in your regime, what you have, been putting across and the measures being put in place to receive shocks and all those. But as it is happening now, we share a number of Kitaya. But yeah, I think it's more striking and then fascinating is how our debt got swollen as a result of, the energy sector debt, the COVID, and then the banking sector cleanup. But then the energy sector, I remember we had what we call ESLA, which the proceeds are supposed to, used to be settled in this energy sector debt. And at the same time, COVID, so we had some influence of it. Apart from the echelon of Brano, the sector debt, the assets that you are paying for, you have to parade it as well. It's 50.1 billion now, okay, we have spent on it. What did we gain from it? Because you cannot, as a country, cannot spend without gaining anything out of it. Well, the asset that we are getting, the asset usage now, and then the prospective usage, would it be able to offset, the debt that we have accumulated on these three items? Because COVID like this, we had some inflows and all those. All those things were not accounted for. So if you are becoming in our boom, those liabilities, which is the 50.1 billion. Now, the possible asset that, or the inflows that we got. The banking sector, for instance, if we spend 21 billion on banking sector, the banks had assets. Do you get it? But when you parade the liability side, as you say, as Cassie in the idea rescue, 4-point-something million, depositors. What was the quantum of deposit did you save? Do you get it? Apart from the numbers, what was the quantum of, depositors, funds did you save? And apart from that too, the banks had assets. They had buildings, they had things that I think, your friend is saying, when you sell them, they should be able to net off some of this 21 billion. To me, I think the packaging some way, somehow, because it's more discouraging when you keep on parading this debt without showing the possible assets that has, that comes with it. Now it discourages, the people and then the consumers of your message. It is, to me, a horror problem. But apart from that, most of the things were a rehash of, manifesto promises here and there. So, that is what I observe from
the presentation. Will pose almost about 11 questions. As an economist, my main NGO views on these 11 questions the Vice President posed for himself. Our attempt to answer. Was it what has happened to the economic fundamentals? But at the moment, as I didn't come, your fundamentals, how would you describe your fundamentals?
Well, the fundamentals, there's a big exchange rate, exchange rate is part of the fundamental. The inflation is part of the fundamental. Interest rate levels are part of the fundamentals. And, if you look at the measures that are being put in place to rescue, the cedi depreciation, it will definitely swell up interest rate. And because monetary policy rates are costly, and it will feed into the interest rate structures. And at the same time, the measures to control the cedi, it's going to create, some way, somehow, economic difficulty, because we think that the cedi depreciation is as a result of, more, more cedis chasing the dollar. But it might not necessarily be. Most of the greater part of the inflation that we experience in this country are imported inflation. Inflation that is caused by cost of shipment. The Vice President even said it yesterday.
Yes.
Cost of shipment, which we don't have control over anyway. Cost of shipment, freight, insurance, and all those things going up. If it goes up, obviously, it will affect, and then importation, import duties and all those in this country. So, Ubisamia, like I said, the fundamentals are not okay, but that is an economic dynamic. Obviously, economics there. We are in the deep. We just have to appreciate it, and the measures that we are putting in place now, whether it will work or not, let's keep our eyes on them. If it works, we'll come out of it.
All right, let's look at the bit about inflation when it comes to the fundamentals. The Vice President says that, ladies and gentlemen, countries and economies throughout the world are experiencing severe challenges following the COVID-19 pandemic and the more recent Russia-Ukraine war. The pandemic, which started early 2020, resulted in the greatest economic depression in the world since the 1930s, and most countries recording negative GDP growth. Supply chain disruptions and the rising price of crude, which went up to a high of 130 this year, has resulted in major increases in the price of fuel across the globe, with petrol prices doubling in many countries. The highest petroleum prices can be found in Hong Kong, the Netherlands, Zimbabwe, Germany, Israel, and the United Kingdom. There are two issues I want you to help me address. One has to do with the choice of countries. You're selecting one more high crude prices. What informs the decisions to go with certain countries and not to go with certain countries?
Well, I don't know the criteria that was used in selecting these countries, but I think the message are not to about the global economy is a systemic one, which has come to affect almost every country. I don't know whether the countries were picked based on geographical locations, or they were picked based on, the same economic, dynamics as, Ghana. But then sometimes I'm careful how I compare countries, because in as much as we may have different economic, we may be exposed to the same global shocks. Every country has, certain levels of, buffer that they can use to receive shocks. If you come to Ghana, we talk about international reserves up to only 3 months or so. And to the extent, if it goes to 4 months, we jump on it and be happy. But other countries that we are comparing ourselves to, maybe they might have long-term, buffer that they can use to receive shocks in the long term. So for me, I'm really careful when I'm comparing. And as a result of that, I don't know what criteria they use in selecting those countries. But, well, it's a communication to the public that, this is a systemic, issue. And in the end, it's going to affect almost every, country.
The reason why we beside okay, all right, Prof. Medwase no pay say Ojembe na onimedi enkomo ewo dwumedi. So Professor Lord Mensa and yene no edi enkomo no we senior lecturer at University of Ghana Business School no was sharing thoughts with us this morning. Yemfa Ghana kasa embre man for we are na afi yatoa enkomo hwehwe no eso anapay.
We understand your desires for a bright and prosperous future, a future that would have the resilience to better withstand shocks of the nature we are currently experiencing. I am excited about the prospects of the nation we are building, the brilliant minds being nurtured who are contributing towards this vision. We must allow our mindset to build our courage that we can be amongst the best in the world at anything. Some of our senior high schools are winning robotic competitions. We must believe in our capabilities and also do away with the impossibility mindset. We must believe in our capabilities. We are building a new economy. Under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for the first time in our history, Ghana has successfully issued a national ID card. For the first time in our history, Ghana has a digital property address system. For the first time in our history, Ghana has mobile money interoperability. For the first time in our history, any Ghanaian who has a national ID card can open a traditional bank account using their mobile phone. For the first time in our history, over 80% of adults in Ghana have tax identification numbers. For the first time in our history, Ghana is using drones for the delivery of critical medicines and blood. For the first time in our history, Ghana is implementing one district, one factory. And our government has facilitated the establishment of more factories than any other government since independence. For the first time in our history, Ghana has paperless clearing at our ports. We have digitized for the first time in our history the passport acquisition process. We have digitized for the first time in our history the acquisition of driver's licenses. For the first time in our history, we have implemented the Ghana.gov platform. and people can renew for the first time in our history their NHIS membership on the mobile phone. For the first time in our history, we can apply for scholarships on the mobile phone. I'm not done yet. For the first time, thank you. For the first time, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, for the thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. So for the first time, thank you very much. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians can apply for scholarships on their mobile phones. For the first time in our history, Ghanaian students will be able to apply for student loans without the need for a guarantor. For the first time in our history, government is implementing a pension scheme for cocoa farmers. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians and law enforcement can find out the insurance status of any vehicle using the motor insurance database on your mobile phone. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided free electricity for lifeline consumers for a year at the height of the COVID pandemic. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided the 50% reduction for non-lifeline consumers. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided free water for their year during the COVID pandemic. For the first time in our history, we provided Wi-Fi to 700 senior high schools and 13 public universities. For the first time in our history, Ghanaian pensioners can obtain their SNIT pensions just after 10 days after application for their pensions. For the first time in our history, a nationwide e-pharmacy will be launched in the next few weeks. For the first time in our history, Ghana has implemented one constituency, one ambulance. For the first time in our history, we have implemented the Zongo Development Fund. For the first time in our history, we are implementing one district, one hospital under the Agenda 111. For the first time in our history, we are implementing free TVET and have established the Ghana TVET service. And for the first time in our history, we have implemented free senior high school education. Ladies and gentlemen, as I bring my remarks to a close, it is important to note that this global crisis would have hit us, irrespective of which government is in office. It is a global crisis. It would have hit us. However, how well we can come out of this depends on which government is in office and its track record of delivery. Our government has achieved a lot, and as a country, we have come a long way. We must celebrate our achievements, big and small, and not seek to tarnish or belittle our achievements for the sake of politics. I look forward to all of you doing your part in making our nation great and strong. We are on the right path with sound policies to enhance growth, fiscal and monetary policy discipline, and by the grace of God, we are bouncing back better and stronger. We will weather the storm. We will turn this tide. We will continue to work tirelessly for the good of this nation. There is no doubt that the future of Ghana is brighter and safer under our economic management.
In terms of Vice President, this speech will make you and I day a broman for no pay our happy morning show. So some day at the Ghana Casa a broman for Ofremi Awabodin. Maybe I offer a free number no 0244-885140 and 0549-508687. Any of these numbers offer me, I'll be glad to speak to you this morning. 0549-508687 and 0244-885140. Offer me an abodi maybe I offer a free now. But your okasa no wama emu ate amamini nyina yetimi edi nkomono eyi, and it will give ample time for people to call in and share your thoughts with us this morning live on the show. Into from here 0244-885140 and 0546-508687 0549 sorry 508687 offer any of these numbers already in Komo. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sam.
Yes, sir, Chief.
Yes, from Echo.
Echo, what are you? From where?
Swedru.
Swedru, okay. Yo. Hello, Echo. All right, too bad, we lost him. 0244-885140 and 0549-508687. 0549-508687. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sammy. It is saying.
Bacho me hoya bacho na answer.
And no dey yet in sembe brepao. Na seminim say anka
body na bacho body. Chief. Bacho body na me ne baby afro.
Bra ohia.
Hello.
Position.
Hello, Chief. Bacho body na me ne baby afro.
Oh, me din de Kofi Steven, me frefi North Canadian Night Market Junction, Fatama Night Market Junction.
Yo, yanko.
Yeah, Satam ne lectures or no wo UCC, NUCS, UPS, who say or wo baby papa na no me say wakofan kwala young guys and all lecture one so lecture Ghanaians. Master, yen kotokom na ye show. Yen hwe nia oka. Ni oka ne the rhetorics bi na oma. Ye hwe nia happens se a yen tumi into ebrongu nsuo mu. Yen tumi into geli. Yen to me to anwa, yen to me to esichire, yen to me to she paste cry head is sebi toilet roll the ankasa ayati say we hunimuni o treat toilet roll se sia mobo eno ho asa na ye ka NDC ba ye wanya hwe a wo kan nyina na ne wo aba kire say NDC mreso no na anwa gallon no ye 75 say ye 450 intino wo 450 ni ye saying 75 Ghana no na ye hu say ampa na dia kosura ye nyina ye bre ye tietemu lorry first say o tika mu kana hu yonko a o tika mu ntumi ntuama no because ntuama na obe 90 abefie
me do asana pay so frame ma only even swim friend on so embra homano so na eni no ending komo number abefe no 0244-885140 0549-508687. Hello, good morning.
Sammy?
Yes, sir.
Obawo. I will you. Sammy, what's your boy?
Akwa Baminia.
What's your boy? Obawo. Say obeda. But Michia Patio.
I just said,
And then the Fatio Mukani Shefa. Uni Remo, Mumafia, no pop. Because president, you know, over here, we say you are comparing, and this is just a chum, one answer me more. One time, you won't talk on you 4 years a chum. 5 years, 6 years, then you still calling and this. I mean, what is that? Not just say, or see, for the first time in the history of not for the first time, no, Dr. Bomi also become a president. For the first time, Anakuba also become president. And don't put in your account. For the first time, Samir Shen is working in Happy FM. Raymond Yamado, no, the ETV, so no, or Makudimre. Fire Benham.
No. I don't encourage that. Bacho. And Ima, you should know the better. 0244-885140 and 0549508687. Any of these numbers, no from here. I'll speak to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Shami.
Yes, sir, Chief.
I am from Osei. You can just sack.
You, Miss Osei.
Next year, open maybe offer course. The Casa said that from Sister One Cascata. I am Mr. Sami. I'm not a Shavet here. I like you, Bobia. Ukraine. Uba Kruma, a fresh now about Mia Casa, Uba Kruma, Baumia Casa, Baumia Casa. I'm telling you, I'm not the great Casana, the Dieton television. We were duping on young Fuson like Casatenu Chumuko. Nama no canon. Say, so you dear 1 month for Epumua. You can do quite think if you over Casa 70 become dressing a year. You can tone you in your tone when I saw the dressing gun. And Sankaya who Brazil. I could so a second of 40 years. Million one I be. The PM wire didn't see any or champion. Ninka, a beer, that dress not dress, no. Sebi, what Pedro, I can't, the way I sang for Casachan. Never knew. First, I'm playing Kawo. A deal 40 and what you thinking, eh? But get 116, you know, 160, not you or fish caca, and the penalty of what I'm telling you that Coco Pontimento. So, but to go to Mr. Sami said, Mr. Baumia, it's more kind of yes, so someone you full report our Ghanaians were. You can run a castle, Kobe to Nidanka, and Ghana for Casa.
But don't want to pay, sir, offer now by Jimmy so and a pay. Number is 0244-885140 and 0549508687. Any of these numbers, no from here. When you'll be in Kumo and a pay. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right, too bad. Oniano Entimi Engine Humanus 0549508687 0549508687 and 0244-885140. With me from Anapenamino Edin Kumo. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Samuel.
Yes, sir, Chief. Yes, sir.
Yo, Samuel, Yamishra Pana. You were fasting, Insha Allah. A bomb by mouth. Me, unse Muslim for a duba this camera and throw yechi. Who can throw pair? What sell or fasting on ye? It in draw, Ubia any fasting. Me can that we are aware. So that was any fasting. And Samuel, waiting me pacho. John Daman Mama, of few office, how many years?
But you're proceeding.
Oh,
proceed.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, into proceed.
Yo, every no be Nimitra Mekasa. Number 2. And yet, John Traman Mama, and a year on my paying Ewo Ganaha. Inti Yediama MPP. Naneku Fadu Nipaumiano, see Wumbu man. Inti Empesa Nipan Bekasa, Okasa 1 2 John Mama. For the first time in our history, China Kasaba Yetongo Ganaha. China for Kasaba ever Ghana. For the first time in our history, China for Eton Kuntumbi our market. For the first time in our history, say China for Baby Sweating Yudria Kuku, and then they would be a cuckoo, and then the Ghana Yamaya can be the. For the first time in our history, the Polo Kabako a 20 city. For the first time in our history, Ukotadi 1 city, following the Ubako nearly 20 city, I want to Nekufani MPP Minnesota. For the first time in our history, in the fuel, you're turning able, every 10 cities, for the first time in our history, this is cement, sister Ghana. Samuel, for the first time in history, Mimi was what Rakemu, not Okokufodra, to say you did 10 cities. First, no, yes, 6 cities.
All right.
Ni papa money. Me take it away. Send Roka, na eja, Rari Nando, thank you.
All right. But I was on a pay so for now by Jimmy News on a pay. Maybe it's not funny kind of episode. For the first time in our history, open to Joe. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sammy.
Yes, Chief.
Was so my friend said, the state of the nation address, I was three.
But you say,
but we had the one three. I was a man, the was three. Ah, Sammy?
Yes.
Yes, you are about your can.
Yes.
Yes, you are for the first time in history. But for can be free, friends say, a bit free, their past, ever is Sawam. We just sound with you, not saying at two. For the first time in history, this see that. And the answer, no more kind of no. One got some more share program national. I'm on analyzing. I'm one analyzing. But practical debris is not, they are not competing with NDC because you are two Abamam and they are cost 7 years. You are not in competition because NDC is and I will buy a idea amount. And I just and the DNA comparison, but the idea whether Raymond used to have it or see only one in the University students of Tescom. 1 year Tescom, only anti before next, I never have no more. If your car, summer, study, or 1 year Tescom for class, I wish I did not for a bit more. I don't know who should put it now. Who should not see the because now they are not happy. Because someone said the vice president was a failure. One of your friends said this sitting president, His Excellency, not done for even for a BBC interview. Now I say, why are you saying because of questions I exam? Because in some of them now, service, the majority in yellow credit because or can't someone now, President Banana cannot then remove what. And yes, I will be also Ukraine war, Ukraine Russia war, started 24 February. Arambwa. Sunny the war, 24th February, Ukraine war, Ukraine Russia war is a shot here. As we now count in the Ghana economy, oh, Charlie. Yeah, sounds wrong. Bye.
Hello, good morning.
That's me.
Yes, sir.
We are firm and I'm a free adenta.
But you're a free fan.
Adenta.
But you.
Okay. Kaka me pese me can say Dr. Bawumia Kasa. Na say ye be pe kwan bi afa so adidi na tema isia. Ene o kasa yenti. Because on crop for the bibli ya omo frɛ wo program si. Enema bibli di adanse pepe say omo antie. But ade tia o won sem oba beka. Obe frɛ radio so obe ko Facebook obe test radio programs na ade. And I don't think say fair. Once your work opinion person share after the speech no, we have to listen to him. One more thing. I think Ghana for you baby a do but your person beti baby free ba. But I no so dey nyi. E dey nti na me ni umienu se be pre oba ba ko ho. Na wo de wo kɔ ho a otimi ko bo me din oba me de me kɔ a me ntimi mo wudu. Hu bi da. President Mahama efri amamu mu 6 years ni yate ase. But na me ne wo ka say order so through jams. But you expect say Dr. Bawumia on the omani the first auditorium now on the only who can say obo former president din. Let us be fair. Let us give them the equal opportunity. Obi an kan de ne yonko aye ana de ono bo obeye. Mahama American be bia ono bo obeye. Ni de nyina say he's basing on the failures of this particular government, just like they have always done. But I'm telling you, say obi a onim bia nim say this government has not just failed. The entire world is facing problems. Ghana, we don't live in isolation. Samame that's my main fence here.
Madam Sanope so friend about you no so anapay. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right, too bad.
Hello.
Yep. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Papa.
Yes, sir, Chief.
I'm not watching you, Kumasi.
You.
Yeah, I mean, you know, or you are saying I'm a Smith person. Supreme Court, you Omu di asema. Omu go way back. If you cry 1840 something, asema idea. Omu kofa at the reference to ene asema. In politics, so no. The wa ma obi a hu de na wo ho. na no no a better na we hu wanim e just wanim na wa better na wako iti ana wo mu kasa no de wo nya sa politics ne de ade e to ni finan no what did that to a year ya fi wa enye ye because Mr. Kofo every one that na a dollar no now we and the one city kokoria na yama $1 class ajik 10% e we chiri next 19% ana visa the mama di koko do say what you say in the comparison no enu here in politics the be adibi na wo kasa obi anu Mr. Humia o kasa kama na mu do be no na say ni we reference so we a political platform there enu ne yebeti asie and as ade we na aba no enye obi na ayo e nyina ene ya ye say about the budget to parliament. Now opposition for say the hand parliament in Kilo. Any budget no and to what we call this kababe juma ewo omanu. Na uye we no usu se omanu what better na go to yes o konfboni tre kurum station come to kurum but movie we dey kan okro dan na dey budget edibu o my budget no ma party bi atum but the dia e hoye finance e yin dey mo say on the engine to si campaign abano kwa wa banu modern okay I say alia e poko ko search man ni tiri mo pa no se bia ke bo kwa de bia aka kwa de di nko wi sa how we have to and the government is set to this year and the Ghana for na sabe when me here na ke ya sabe ya tafre e se te basa ne so na meeting ni suntino e dey da celebrate.
All right, Medwan Sanopa is offering our badge medino SO 0244885140. Pacho, with me offering also about Jumedian so na in wedding come several text messages and I pay a month for so at the ascending a virgin Bernie I can be at the ama at the 4. Until your final caller Eborema Nafino, your tone of Macanafi, your D in Como and pay a Jumediano as well. To my mentor come on Sunny your phone lines, you know, see betuma. Yeah, tumu anapay. Yen final caller na afim. Okay, all right. I'm saying your final caller no entimi amba humano asuntini. Yen twas ni ndi enkomo anapay. Remote now super so kabi asana etono.
Sami yani openyi Lord Mensa ekasa ya no. Yeah. He spoke about comparison and some of the countries are normally BBC or more buffers. And so it brings me to arguments and I'm raised over the last few weeks. Sorry. Sorry about that. Say, yeah, governments. And we want to compare ourselves to some of the developed countries. And our countries are in say, only a reference point. Never be what I say to me, especially when it talks about fallback plans and buffers and cushion. And that's where you talk about known unknowns. I own them say, I deal with it to see. They see time a bit in until you prepare yourself for the worst. And then you talk about COVID-19, war, a year unknown unknowns. You don't know, say, BC, own time a BC, but you still plan for some of them. So that this year, when them say there's a fallback planner, it will not totally make your economy go on its knees. So I mean, if today we have been told it's a COVID buy, Russia, Ukraine, one in your money now buy, I be do baby now. Question number be say, what kind of economy were we building? So that unknown the bar, to make you resilient, and you cannot absorb the shock. We've not been able to absorb it completely. What kind of economy have you been building all these years? Previous governments in Yamano. So I will say, all the fantastic figures, all the fantastic data pre-COVID, now you want COVID by a shaky economy. We've gone on our knees completely. And the economy nana who they ankasa anything. And I mean, governance there. What you mean? Say, oh, COVID for her now what to us? So COVID is with us. And any other party about power, COVID, everything it is a deco. War they able to see any time. Nobody saw Russia Ukraine coming. They able to see any time. And so I mean, maybe you do know. I think a government would have to revise how how they govern economy. So I mean, they always have to be governing economy, thinking of the possible worst name I bet you may see. we'll get to stages like this. And I mean, once you don't prepare for stages like this, you're on your knees. That is where we are. So I mean, the better track for any assembly I'm going here, Kofi Benton and Troy. Time says it's here 11
Yes.
That obviously should be the panacea to most of your problems. And it say we're friends say see defense say be see of water no. You say 11. You hear sika kakra. When Kofi Benton got Troy. Sami, mami kama. Subruku, the village priest, has so far failed to find a solution to a curse killing people in the village. The villagers have concluded that he's not a powerful priest, so they need a new one. To save his job in life, Subruku denies vehemently that he is powerless and useless. He explains that the remedy needed for a solution will require the use of a lion's testicles. If therefore anyone could bring him a pair of lion testicles, he, Subruku, will solve the problem of the village. The village has a new problem. Who can get into the lion's den, kill it, and remove its testicles? As long as Subruku did not have his lion's testicles, he had an excuse not to bring a solution. Then one day, Kweku Frimpong entered the village with a lion on his back. How he managed to kill the lion, no one knows. Kweku placed the lion in the center of the priest's compound, in the full glare of everyone, removed his testicles, and handed them to Subruku. Why are people saying Kweku Frimpong has brought trouble to Subruku?
Well, hold on with your story. Now, Dr. Julius Kweku Kata ending como economist. Now, your thoughts and pay. Doc, good morning.
Honey, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you too?
How is everybody at the studio?
We're doing well. We're doing well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, good.
So, your impressions about the Vice President's delivery yesterday?
To me, I have very strange ideas about the kind of discussions he's been bringing out of late. You see, there's a difference between when you are doing political campaign and then when it comes to real practical application of the issues in the economy. You have no right to be playing with the issues. Seriously, I've been monitoring some of his submissions over the years. And during the 5 years up to now, I've realized that when you pick on depreciation of the city, when you pick on the economy, digitalization, when you pick on anything, e-levy or whatever, you realize that they are rather confusing the public with the explanation they have been given. Take it for instance, the e-levy has a double taxation element. Be frank with yourself. Globally, the definition is clear, and it's a regressional tax. But what do we hear from the public domain? What do we hear from prominent people who are supposed to understand that it's a double tax? There's no two way about that. And if you look at the depreciation of the city as well, you realize that it is not only the external factors that contribute, the exogenous factors that contribute to the decline or the depreciation of the city. It's also an internal measures that we have refused to take. For instance, the dollarization of the economy. You realize that...
Doc, yeah. I think that where you are, the feedback we are getting, there seems to be some air blowing into your microphone. So there's some sound, which makes it very difficult for us to have the conversation. Are you able to position yourself for us to continue, sir?
Are you okay?
Yes, it's a bit better.
Is it okay now?
Come again?
All right. I'm driving, that's why. So I've lowered the air conditioning and everything. So
that's fine.
So
that's
please,
fine.
what I'm trying to say is that you are using tools or models to handle the economy. And it is not a joke. Economic issues are discipline issues that need to be accorded as such. But if you come on into public domain and you just mention anything and just start to praise people and let the system look as if everything is well, it is not well.
But to be fair to the Vice President, the Vice President yesterday admitted that all is not well. The Finance Minister has admitted that all is not well. The President has admitted that all is not well. So where are you coming from?
I'm coming from the history they laid down from the beginning. I'm coming what they said from the beginning. Why were they saying those things if you know that it is hard for Ghanaians and it must be admitted from the word go? Why all along you were denying it? Shouldn't have done that. That means
let me pause you there for a second.
The people.
Let me pause you for a second. If you say that all this while they've not been factual with Ghanaians or truthful to Ghanaians.
Yes, they're not being honest.
If I may land. So the Vice President says that until the early parts of 2020 when COVID-19 reared its ugly head up, we had our macro indicators, economic indicators, doing well. Is that not a fact?
Which of the micro indicators?
Whether it is inflation, whether it is the depreciation of the cedi, whether it is whatever indicator you are looking at.
The indicator of one of the strongest indicator of the economy is the debt, accumulation of debt.
Yes, but these other
it's not the best.
So 2019, where were we with our
2019? Yes.
Where were we with our debt to GDP portfolio? This was around 60 something plus. Not so.
If yes, I agree with you that 60 something plus. Even that one, we are not doing well.
Chief,
we are not doing well. If it is 60 and above, we are not doing well. It was 68 point something. We are not doing well. We are not doing well. I will not praise that. I will not say that that is the best way. No.
I want you to, simplify
the working tool of the economy is production. And production of goods and services. He said it when he was coming into power, that they will build a productive economy. Have we seen that?
So you have not seen some of the One District, One Factory projects. You haven't heard the story of the Planting for Food and Jobs where, for instance, the poultry farmers.
District, one
if I may, Doc,
rather one metropolitan factory, one metropolitan factory, one district.
Is it not a step?
When we say district, excuse me, when we say district, one district, one factory, the districts have not seen any factory. I have to be honest with you. Which district, tell me, that has seen a major transformation in terms of a factory?
Let me use a typical example, which His Excellency the President himself, the Ekumfi Juice Factory. Is it not situated in a district?
When you collapse Commander Factory, when you collapse the sugar
Chief,
factory,
it looks like you asked me a simple question. I gave you an answer. That is the Ekumfi Juice Factory, not one of them.
Factory for what? Look at it. Look at the structures.
What do you mean when you say look at the structures?
What I'm saying is, how many people are being employed? How many people are working there? How many people are living on?
Can the government ever employ everybody?
Cannot employ everybody.
So then, what's your case?
The promise that they made is what I'm talking about. One district, one factory.
Yes.
By now, in the 5th year, it will reach a level where we are plowing back profits.
So you don't agree with the government when they say that indeed COVID-19 has wreaked havoc in terms of its determination to, industrialize. You don't agree?
I will not agree, because if you put the strong measures there and they are working, the measures are working well and you are monitoring and implementing them, you will never say because of COVID you have not done anything.
All right, so you're an economist. I'm sure you follow the international news. You've seen what is happening in Spain. You've seen what is happening in the UK. You've seen what is happening in the US of A. You've seen what is happening in other countries, which is all as a result of COVID-19 and its impact on economies. How do you think that to that of Ghana?
In Africa, we've not been affected massively like in the European countries, you know, because of the cold. The climatological conditions of those places are different from ours. We are lucky, we have a different weather conditions. We are in the savanna tropics. So, and at the end of the day, what COVID-19 has done in Italy, Germany, France, and the rest, America and the rest, the impact was not too huge as in terms of, so we could be doing a streamlined kind of production or industrialization as we move along. We are fortunate. So that is the perspective I would look at it.
We will thank you for making time to speak to us, Dr. Kata.
Thank you very much, my brother. Have a nice day.
Dr. Julius Kweku Kata joined us to share his thoughts with us. I found the conversation a bit interesting because, you know, as much as he wants us to believe that the vice president is picking and choosing, he's also picking and choosing with his submission. You know, economics has to do with facts. What it is what you speak to. You can't choose and pick and have a conversation with me. If I tell you about this, then you tell me how are the job losses here. Anyway.
Asem ni nyina no, sorry.
Come on.
Yeah.
Asem ni nyina ne say, and I always tell people, we have sat here this morning and expressed opinions about the presentation by His Excellency the President. But it does also mean that when you are coming on the show, you should not come and speak to the issues as well. Let's speak the facts. It is a fact that COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on our nation. It is a fact. It is a fact that the Ukraine-Russian war has wreaked havoc on us. It is a fact. It is a fact that worldwide, these two elements have had issues on economies worldwide. These are facts. And so I don't want us to pretend to ourselves that indeed it didn't impact on us. It did.
But Sabi,
at the time, and indeed, the vice president is right when he says, at the time, businessmen who were doing business, most of the times our businessmen are trading with the Asian countries, China for that matter. People were not going to work. People's orders that were supposed to have been shipped into this country, for months they were not coming. That person has gone to borrow money from a bank. The bank doesn't care. Your interest accumulation would build up. A moratorium won't be giving you. It is there. I remember at the time, one of the things we were asking for was for government to intervene with the banks to hold on with some of these loans that they are giving to businessmen. And so it is a fact. It is a fact that, look, when demand outstrips supply, nobody will cost you. It is a fact. And so if one container, nipa bear 10 and they pay the same container, some be almost shipment, the prices of these shipments would obviously go up. The shipping lines would also obviously go up. That is a fact. So these are basic facts that I expect that, look, we may sit here and disagree with some of the comments by His Excellency the Vice President, but some things are factual. It's as simple as that.
Indeed, some of them are factual, but you ask yourself again, sir, in as much as COVID-19 has had its share of, impact on the economy, what has the reaction been like? COVID-19 what interventions as a government did we attempt to do? And how much money did we source? Or how much money came in for us to be able to deal with some of the challenges we faced during COVID-19?
Can I attempt to answer those questions for you? I'll still stay on the matter of trade. If I project that between the first quarter of 2020, I project, say I expect to make some 10 million Ghana cedis. Out of this 10 million Ghana cedis, almost about 6 million of that is supposed to be coming from cargo that is coming into the country, taxes I'm going to collect. And this cargo is no longer coming into the country because of COVID-19, because of lockdowns. How do I make that 6 million Ghana cedis? How am I to blame for that 6 million Ghana cedis which I'm not making?
As a government.
As a government, how am I to blame?
As a government, so that's 6 million.
Yes.
have you used other means to get hold of that 6 million?
Where other means what?
World Bank, IMF. We went for money from the stabilization fund.
But you are the same people. You are the same people who are complaining about your debt to GDP portfolio. You are complaining about our debt stock.
We went for, and you are telling me that.
Yes.
The debt stock is where it is because of COVID-19.
Yes.
Because of borrowing sika me koji.
True.
But we're also asking a question here. Sika na buy any now. Where did the money go? Exactly what did the money do?
I don't want to veer into. I don't want to veer into issues about accountability. That's another conversation.
No, I'm not going into accountability. I'm just saying.
I'm not going into issues of accountability.
For all the money that came in, on the issues, all the
force majeure which has come.
Yes.
And government has no control over it.
Yes.
Now I ask the question: say, where is the government supposed to get that 6 million?
I'm saying government made up for it by getting money from other sources, borrowing. Did government borrow or not?
Government borrowed. What was it meant for?
Oh, Sammy.
When we borrowed those monies, let's not lose sight of the history, just recent history. At the time, we were looking for PPEs. Government was looking for PPEs. Medical professionals were looking for PPEs. At the time, we were looking at containment centers, which we didn't have. At the time,
we didn't build new containment
we didn't
centers.
have.
We didn't build new
Yes, we
containment
didn't
centers.
have.
We didn't build.
No, we restructured.
But we didn't build
We
new
restructured
ones.
facilities to accommodate these. It just doesn't happen. It requires money. We did all of those things. At the time, we may have problems with the figures we were given for feeding Ghanaians at Circle. We may have problems with that. But some expenditure went in there. You see, in all these conversations, sometimes we forget about logistics. Look, to move, you remember at the time there was a task force in place. That task force, some money had to be given them for them to be operational. There was a lot that was happening at the time. As much as some of the things the Vice President said, I disagree. But the facts are the facts.
Sammy, let's not forget that per analysis here, say 6 million na ye lose
Yes.
And COVID-19 ejuma na ye de ba diana.
6 million. No.
Aye.
No, COVID-19
right? Exactly.
No, it wasn't COVID-19.
So the monies that we got, as a result of COVID-19, and now you do COVID-19, obviously there is still a deficit of what we would have used our 6 million
exactly.
for.
Absolutely.
So yes, things will surely still be hard. Because you are neglecting Bibianca without COVID-19.
You see, Sammy, let us not talk as if COVID was over football match. Now BBS was failed no soon, you pause. Yeah, solving problem new year. Then immediately everything gets back to normal setting.
No, it won't get back to normal.
That is not what
it is. Obviously, it won't get back to normal.
Plus COVID, that is governance. You are continuing. Plus COVID,
indeed.
Plus
but
COVID,
there will be a shake-up.
You are continuing.
Yes, there will be a shake-up.
And I'm saying that when the shake-up came, when you went to borrow, when you went to do what you wanted to do with borrowed funds, what have we seen? As far as giving cushion to the economy, what have we seen? As part of borrowing now, we borrowing.
Okay, so let me give you what we have done. Small businesses in this country.
How many of them?
I don't work with that agency, so I can't give you the numbers. But small agencies were giving loans. I remember at the time there's a market here which got bent. To resuscitate them, they were giving loans.
So, I mean, are you aware that market? Nancy and a report by say funds have still not been disbursed to them.
No. I'm not aware.
Sammy,
I am not aware.
Let me pull that story for you.
Pull that story for me. But the point I'm making is this, Raymond. We can't sit here and say COVID-19 did not impact us. It did. We can't sit here and say, what do you call it? Ukraine and Russia has not affected us. It has. But my question has always been, prior to 2020, in 2019, how were our books looking like? By 2019, we had already started complaining our debt to GDP portfolio. By 2019, we had already started complaining about how we may hit the 70% mark of our GDP. So when I hear the Vice President say that, all was well, but for COVID-19, that is not factual. That is not factual. You see, I tell people that, look, if you're not looking for the truth, don't listen to the Happy Morning Show. Maybe you're done a hundred better. I was here. 2019, the signs were already on the wall that we were going to hit this. Look, let's say COVID-19 had not happened. We would have still had our debt to GDP crossing the 70 mark by now.
Yeah.
Would have been in the 70 plus by now.
That is if we were not doing anything about it.
Fatty, so far. Look, even our e-levy. What have we heard? We are seeking to collateralize the e-levy to go and get a loan. The taste, the appetite for borrowing is still there, even in this situation. So whether we admit it to ourselves or not, whether the government admits it to ourselves or not, the indicators were already going out of its boundaries. And I always say, and that's why I found it strange when the Bank of Ghana wrote, and then we were talking about Bloomberg story and Anomayeno. If we reference their own meetings they had with the IMF, the IMF was pegging it at 80% plus.
So,
yes, Makwaba. Yes, Makwaba and Swaba. But I'm saying that we are speaking to the facts.
Yes.
The fact is that by 2019, look, even if COVID-19 had not struck, our debt to GDP would have crossed the 70 mark. That would have meant that the rating agencies by now would have been looking at downgrading us.
Sammy, so you have brought me back to
yes, I'm being factual about the issues.
Sammy, now to Ukraine, Russia. Russia, yes, I have just 1 minute.
A minute.
Yes. I have, yes, Sammy, Ukraine, Russia, the Benin start here. Very well. Sammy, and we are made aware by Vice President said directly, Ghana, we are directly, I would say, need to make boss our voice, man. We are directly impacted by Russia, Ukraine.
But are we not?
Directly.
Are we not directly hit?
No, you see, Sammy, sometimes when we talk about these issues,
that's why today I said I won't do the macro.
It takes us back.
That's why I said I won't do the macro.
Sammy,
I'll do the micro.
It takes us back. Sammy, it takes us back because you see, this government coming into power, we're told say industrialization was the way forward. Okay, we're told say initiatives. As a nation. Sammy,
can I be honest?
Was the vice president talking about wheat yesterday? No, Sammy. Oh no, let's have discussion. No, was he talking about wheat production? Being just say wheat are the back room hano free Ukraine and Russia never. Because of war, it's affected the cost in them. Sammy, is that what the case is? Then we talk about fertilizer. You can say about fertilizer. Say Russia and Ukraine and the dominating our market, It is affected to the extent say your farmers grab shortage fertilizer and sense. Sammy, is that the case? No, you see, Sammy, let's be true to ourselves. Sammy, let's be honest with ourselves. This is not what we were told. Say ABC Okroma.
Let me make the point you want to make for. Let me make the point you want to make for you. The point you want to make is that in the short term, the absence of fertilizer for a farmer whose cocoa has grown to a certain level may not necessarily be affected that much with the absence of the fertilizer.
I said, agree with you.
Except somebody who is starting, and I said, what do face be of Nadia oil? Its direct impact, say it will be tomorrow, and the say, oh, young cocoa, because of the absence of fertilizer, in the next 3 months, when we grow I stunted. Now we won't see it. But did you understand it?
I understand.
But I think that there's one point that I need to make before we go. And that has to do with the constant reference to the energy sector problems I face here as of mine in 2015. Who did you know that we had energy crisis problem about to happen? We had known from President Kufuor's time. We had known John Atamel's time. We had known. I remember President Kufuor's time. It was that time Dr. Rekubobe. Omokofa strategic reserve plant to buy. I don't know whether Raymond you remember. Ghanaians that the capacity of those things could not do anything. We knew that hydro was not going to be sustainable. And so when it hit us in 2015, who is to be blamed for the energy crisis which happened in 2015? That because it happened under one government, there's a problem? Or that person brought the energy crisis? I sometimes, I am yes, Mamma this uncommon.
Sammy,
me
na o cut me. Wheat assembly. Vice President say we imported 43.4 million worth of wheat from Russia in 2019. What was the figure in 2020?
What's the figure?
He didn't mention the figure in 2020. He didn't give us the figure for the first quarter of 2021. For us to even get to the point where we can analyze and say, oh, indeed, based on the AC, no, January to February and January to April in 2019, no, this was what we imported from Russia, which in terms of wheat. In 2020, same period, this was what we got. Then you give us same for 2022 for us to know that indeed, war on Nintino, the numbers have dropped. We didn't get that. Sammy, what happened to B5 Plaza? We were told it was part of one district, one factory. It was coming to solve almost steel problems. And now iron needs steel needs and some shortfalls. No. Sammy, yesterday, the vice president was telling us that 60% of our total import of iron and steel are from Ukraine.
Are you not the one who said that you're not going to the...
No, Sammy, you see, sometimes you want to run away. You see, sometimes, you see, Sammy, when we try to ask questions about this one...
The whole issue is that
when we try
what are the lessons from all these?
They should stop politicking with certain things. They should stop politicking with certain things.
Stop the excuses. We'll just keep making excuses.
Stop the excuses.
Telling us we have problems.
Sammy,
so now we know we have problems. So what next?
Sammy,
that is my issue. In Kenya days is here. Are we going to sit and wait for without a plan for the next 3 months? Fertilizer and a best cry.
But E-levy has come.
E-levy near the
what's your story? Subruku or is it what?
Subruku has come. Kweku
Frimpong
has brought the lion's testicles.
Now
and handed it to Subruku. Subruku E-levy has been passed. We should be happy.
All right.
And things must change.
Your co-breaker by your more special guest to be studio. You know, we'll be doing come. Anything on the pay, can't see any macro and commando. You're macro now. You're not here for them, bra. You're back if you didn't come. And welcome back. We have 25 more minutes before the show comes to an end. I have guests in the studio with me. Minyomo Ebedi Nkomo Anapay. Anapay, Mr. Frederick Ni Noi Dowuna Old Tom's National President. I believe it's a 90-year group. 1990-year group. And Mr. Francis Salome. One also Old Tom's National Assistant Secretary on also 94 2004 yeah. 2004 okay all right na ansa na ebeshe nkomo twetwe na se no yemfa we enhyase ansa na edim komo no
Aquinas bebe Aquinas Veritas Librat Aquinas the truth shall set you free. Our patron saint, pray for us. Under the auspices of the Metropolitan Archbishop of Accra, Most Reverend Bonaventure Kofi, the old students, board, PTA, staff, and students of the school, the general public is invited to the 70th anniversary speech and prize giving day. Date, Saturday 9th April 2022. Time is 9 a.m. Venue, the school premises. Guest of honor, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana. Keynote speaker, Most Reverend Gabriel Edo Kumochi, Bishop of Keta Akachi, Old Tom, 1976. Chairman, Professor Abednego Fehi Amate, Vice Chancellor, University for Professional Studies, Accra, Old Tom, 1986. Aquinas, Bebe.
The St. Thomas Aquinas for Elanope Minyomo Ewo Studio Minyomo Edin Komo. So far as when we Saint Nkwade, I will welcome them home comfortably, with ease, with love. In Catholics, Augustine's College, St. Thomas Aquinas, Bushia, and Bushia and Bushia Kwaba. Akwaya Achimota for a buyer. Fancy pim for a buyer and Caminiomo Ebe Yamna no pay, but Yenya Catholics idea, remember Kwaba.
Thank you.
I think we have to go the English way.
Ah.
Our tree is very, very
Suspect.
bad. Very, very bad.
All right, that's fine. So I'll give as much as I've mentioned your names, an introduction would do. So I'll start with you.
I am Frederick Nino Edowona,
okay,
the national president, OT 1990.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Francis Salome, the assistant secretary, 2004 year group.
That's fine. Are you related to Professor Nino Edowona in any way?
Long distance.
Long distance.
But the Edowona family is one.
Okay, I understand. So let's talk about St. Thomas Aquinas School. Tell us a bit about the school.
Okay, the school was set up by the Accra Catholic Diocese in 1952 at Osu Anoho,
okay,
where we currently have the St. Peter's Catholic Church and School.
Okay.
Yeah, with a number of 50 students. Yes, and then through the efforts of the Catholic Church, we've come this far, and with some good achievements and good products from the school. So we are here to just inform the public of our 70th anniversary and to invite everyone to come and join us.
So this is from the old Toms. You
Yes.
are the modern old Toms. Yeah, this is the old Toms. You are the modern old Toms. Your own description of your school, from your perspective, in terms of your year group.
I entered the school in 2001 to 2004. I met so much over there. Like my national president said, we started with 50, but now then we're about 300 to 400. But if you are looking now, we are almost about 2,000 in the school. And we've come this far with a lot of achievements, support from the old boys, and I mean, many other groups around us. You know.
What sets you apart as a school? I mean, what makes St. Thomas the St. Thomas we know?
We've produced a lot of prominent people in society, and we always have this bragging right that we are the only day school to have won the National Science and Maths quiz. I mean, no day school has ever done that. They were waiting for a day school to break that record, you know. And aside that, it's a school that is situated within the area where you have a lot of diplomatic institutions, you have embassies, you have a lot of things, and our location is very good. And like I said, we have a lot of prominent people who have worked through the school, and they are impacting society in different ways, from the academia to politics. I mean, across everywhere.
So let's talk about the school's vision, the motto. I know. Can you throw more light on that?
The motto of the school is the Veritas Liberat, which is the truth shall set you free.
The truth shall
set you free. So in all that we do, it's about truthfulness.
Okay.
So yes. So when you meet an old Tom or even a current Tom, you know that whatever is saying to you is the truth.
So let's talk about the event itself. What are the activities lined up? Is there a theme for this 70th anniversary celebration? What are the plans?
Yeah, the theme for the anniversary is the vision and philosophy of the founding fathers of St. Thomas Aquinas School, 70 years of quality education. And it started, actually, the program started last year with the launch in July.
Yeah, July.
Yes. We've had sporting activities. We've had talks. There was a quiz, the science and maths quiz in the school just 2 days ago. I think Aquinas won 1, Accra Academy won 1. Then there was another school that also won 1. Yes. So the climax is coming on this Saturday with the speech and prize giving day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything to add?
Yeah, and it starts at 10 a.m., 10 a.m. in the morning, and we are expecting the first gentleman of the land, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to grace the occasion. And we have other dignitaries. The Minister of Education will be there with the head of the Ghana Education Service. They will all be joining us on Saturday as we climax our 70th anniversary.
Now, you mentioned the number of people who have passed through the system. Yes. You said they cut through academia, politics, the sciences, and all. Yes. Do you mind sharing some of these with us?
Yes, we have a few, if you don't mind. And we have Professor Ashikote, that He is the Supreme Court judge. We have the MP for Bia West, Honorable Teria, and we have the MP for Lejokuku, Benayiku, and we want to put it on note that we wrestled that seat from PSEC. We wrestled that seat from PSEC. We have Sylvester Mensah, the former MP for Ladade Kotopong and former head of the NHIS. We have Bishop Boynai, the Catholic Bishop for Yendi. We have I mean, we could go on and on and Grave Rock, Edoku Moji, he's the Bishop of Keta Akachi. We could keep going on.
And we have Professor George Higgin, one-time presidential candidate for the CPP.
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
him. I remember
then the UPSA Vice Chancellor, that's
Professor Fenya
Oko Abednego Amati.
Yes, Vice Chancellor.
Nice. So I know that during these speech and prize giving activities or programs, there are notable activities that go on. For instance, during hours, there was a computer science block that was built. Is there any, such project that is being embarked on by the year group that spearheading this speech and prize giving day?
This is not being sponsored by a year group, but the general O students are putting up as an assembly or complex.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the sword cutting will be done on Saturday, before the speech day.
Interesting. But I know how proud your old students are. What's been the contribution so far from the alumni of the school?
They are the backbone of the school so far. They are the main stakeholders of the school. Yes, we are taking charge of the school for now because now funds are not all that coming from the government. So it is the old students that have to move the school forward.
So this assembly hall project you want to embark on, if let's say Absunians want to support, maybe Santa Clausians want to support, or any corporate entity out there wants to support, is it allowed?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So then, let me give you the room then. Ghana is listening. Ghana is watching. Your project, maybe you can throw more light on the project, and if there is any number or any contact which anybody wants to make with you guys in order to support your project, the person can utilize.
My national president too.
Your national president.
Yes.
Would do that. All right. So, okay.
Okay. Now we are, as we've said already, this is about the assembly hall complex. And we are asking each and every old Tom and alumni of other schools that we've come into contact with to come and support us as we achieve this. Yes, where we have the account of the anniversary planning committee, which is an SGSSB or Societe General Bank account. Can you hold on 1 second for the account number?
Okay. All right, so whilst we look for the number, what I'll do is to entreat all old Toms to be part of this function. I have been to mine, and it takes the presence of, we, the old students, to, tell the story of the school. When the young ones, I remember when I was at St. Augustine's and, during the speech and prize giving day, when the Absunians come and they walk into the various classrooms, they walk into the various houses and dormitories, and they tell us their stories of how the journey has been. And it's at that point in time that enthusiasm, that excitement is also whipped us in us for us to also strive to attain the heights which they have attained. And so all Toms are all being invited to this very grand event which is going to happen.
Yeah, for now, what we want to say is you can contact the national president for on 0244 384876.
Okay.
Or the assistant secretary.
Yes, and my number is 0204 788228.
The way you're rattling there, nobody will get it to.
My number is 0204 788228.
Okay.
Yes.
0244 384876.
Okay. So the venue again and the time?
St. Thomas Aquinas Secondary School premises. The time is 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any final words before we end the conversation?
We just want to entreat all old Toms to come, and we want to tell the general public that parents who have their kids coming to secondary school should feel free and choose Aquinas as their first choice, and they are guaranteed for quality education. We know the Catholic schools always give quality education, and once they pass through the school, there's definitely going to be the chance that they will come back into society and impact society in a positive way. So we entreat every OTOM to come in their numbers, come and get registered. We are building a new database, and we need everybody on board. Like you rightfully said, it takes the alumni to lift the school up, so we are looking up to them.
All right, Mr. President.
Yes, we assure you of discipline, the Catholic discipline. All the kids that will pass through Aquinas would have that discipline to be prominent people in the society. So choose Aquinas as your first choice whenever you're choosing the school.
All right. I'm grateful, Mr. Dowuna. I'm grateful, Mr. Salome, for passing through this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And so my guests this morning have been OTOM Frederick Nino Dowuna, who's the national president, and OTOM Francis Salome, who is the national assistant secretary. They join me this morning for a conversation about the 70th anniversary, which will be happening, the speech and prize giving day. I urge you as OTOMs to support this very important activity which is happening. And so on that note, we activate the phone lines for you to join us this morning. Today is Friday. I'm sure people still have views to express on the Vice President speech I will deliver Enrano, and so Opesa wants to share your thoughts with us. Number no is 0244 885140 and 0549 0549 508687 0549 508687. Any of these numbers you can call and join us. I know that people would have varied views because of the latter analysis we made. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Brasami.
Yes, sir.
Wisdom Clothing.
Yo.
Bon Katamas.
Yanko.
Brasami, I'm sure baby. Catch your sister, as he said, Yakupo Mana, they don't find your fasting. But we're fasting on that. Michelle Amadia and the Menino want to.
Party on your Muslim.
Anna Patino Flavor.
And she can bear that name, but it doesn't make her
Muslim.
Oh,
okay, yeah. Okay, and then you better an amopa. Brass, I may come and some son of fire, or my way wrong. Or more, yes, your moody and Nimuno, or Mundi, dear, bro, papa. Papa Baumia, as some more can in Amity and in Ami Buenfu. But Ghana National ID card no can me bufu ye papa. Ye called Jan Lamu a year ID card, edit to about. Blast I'm holding is our ID card no. Echo baby a Juma.
ID card no. Oh, there are places where I've taken the ID card, it works.
New one.
Yes, a Juma.
Medical bag and Juma.
Oh, that was then, but then most of the banks accept the card.
Hey, yo, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh dear, you are most of mobile. Nyamia dum so mo yeso a mo to me sisa amafo e ko gina ho e body omusu eti omo de omo ko ni sa na yeso one day ye benya baby ayo man ni that's it.
Me that was on the page 0549508687 and 0244885140. Any of these numbers, so from me, I'm nobody and Komo Awa Homani. So, hello, good morning.
Sami is Sean. When you talk about Sean, Papa, we Tano.
ACP.
Obodina, not like Nuna, it's Sean. Very United States of Kisama.
Yeah.
This one not TV, so I can say, the year never not. Katafa says, I'm going from Munisco. Munisco, they stop saying, me year never party, and this I know what.
But,
Idi, on your Munisca.
But,
unforget your mom. Sammy?
Yeah.
Cardinal, a year more. First on an engagement.
Yes.
And the please, it's working. You bought a mona. You see a person budget. You see a Ghana card money. Yeah, we are not. I mean, we share. If your mind on the engineering say not a COVID there across the world. In fact, be a baba from, but I paying for no much year, you know, because the water did 2 city and ra and Tisabium at the time. So maybe as a sound, pure water for 40 pesos. 40%. Senior high school so. I continue to say we buy things. Me buy our girls. We buy every week. We are not your fellow. It's a muto we. It's a muto books. It's a book 30. I mean, we buy. If the free now part of school fees in our economy in theater. Wow. They are coming. I am supporting. If students no be fear na omumba. Sami me bisao.
But you mean to be your response in farmer unless I'm in Ministry of Education for anything come.
Sami, you are done.
Oh, you are done, my brother. Thank you very much for joining me. 0244-885140 and 0549-508687. Hello, good morning. Okay, you are listening to yourself. I can hear myself in.
Hello.
Yes, Metonka.
Good morning.
Morning.
Apomo.
Nyame adom bacho na so e.
Bidiri se obi ahun ye.
Nyame adom.
Mese ma ati 40 se
Opani, yeah, move on. Let's move on. 0244-885140 because you know, offer when I say, show who and will be TV, no, will be radio, no, and an immediate command. The America piano, it will be delayed. It's an America yeah, low TV, and I do no, not meaning come we are to us. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Chief.
Bibi Aboko there.
Bibi Aboko, Minia.
Yeah, one who Ghana Hanon. The Binia no beer Kania I open. But Yankasa Kasa, we are the cause of this problem. Because I said some years back now COVID in the bay. Nipa Numsesabi lockdown aba. Now I fagari, no tono, 30 Ghana. And then man kitty do a while. I was here who say I was here so and what on mine. Every time you can't say be putting blames on government. Yeah, too much. Make us Africa as well. And then man kitty do a while. Yeah, kasa. At this year, announce sabi on mine bano. We are the cause of problem. I'm ready. Let's see, Kromo Ameba. Na ensubi pete. Na mami bia swabola. Kotukum aokushie. Agugatam. Me stopu ye na mema. Ofisaga aino. Obisa me se police niana. Na sabi economic wide amunum. Na se dia to petrol more that you are trying to increase your whatever your stocks are anyhow. Yes, I know. Thank you. Sabi Gafracho. My blaming government too much. This thing is almost the global international way of things. And what are we also doing to support the government? That's the cause.
All right.
Maybe you know.
Mr. Medawas and a pace of Frame now in Midi and Como. I watch Medino. So happy 98.9 FM. On so so frame ya asida and bema aha and a baby my kwan ama yedi dwumedi no asi awie apa ho adaban en command ya to vice president in speech o my no ye bobo mu ye pensem mu live 1 to 5 iwie be din komo fa ye petroleum sector no so ho sensem awie ewo ye apa ho adaban ti awie die dompoa and team no ampaya edwa